Hey everyone, the Talking Dads podcast is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus. Mention that you heard about them through our podcast, and when you tour, and you'll receive $25 off of your registration fee. Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together. We are also brought to you by Pub Fredo Gastropub. Pub Fredo was voted Best Gastropub in Cleveland in 2019 by Cleveland Magazine Silver Spoon Awards. We love Pub Fredo. Their menu is chef-inspired, always pushing the limits of traditional pub fare. The other night I had a burger, I believe it was called the Pub Burger. It was incredible. Cooked perfectly. It was amazing. And you won't have a problem pairing your favorite item on the menu with their great selection of local craft beers, crafted cocktails, and of course, an amazing bourbon and whiskey selection. I went with the Bullet 10-year with my Pub Burger. All of this in a cozy, fun, come-as-you-are atmosphere. You can check them out at pubfredo.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Pubfredo Gastropub. Yo, what's up, dads? This week's episode features our friend, Tyler Whidden. He's a former stand-up comedian, so we had a ton of fun, a lot of laughs. Went through dad hacks, talked about ball water, the mash bill of Canadian whiskeys as being 7. I don't know. It got weird. It was awesome. Enjoy and be safe.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
All right, Tyler, man, thanks for coming in. We are here downtown Willoughby at the Co.Lab by Notion for another episode of the Talking Dads. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a dream come true, really.
I imagine it would
We've
be.
been setting this up for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
This was actually supposed to go down the the night after we had our lockdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey,
Probably
shouldn't be out like in downtown
Right.
Willoughby.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably not a good idea.
It's amazing how the attitudes, I was thinking about this today, like how our attitudes about the whole situation changed and kind of evolved and maybe even devolved. Like I remember when it first happened, I was like, I need to go to the grocery store. I need to stock up on canned food.
Right.
And because who knows if we're going to go back again. And now it's like, I'll just go whenever.
Well, the thing is, like, you're right. I'm like, should I go to the grocery store and buy everything?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, there's no toilet paper.
There's no fucking toilet
I'm like,
paper.
why is there no toilet paper? I was so baffled by the toilet paper
So
thing.
ridiculous.
I remember sitting at a restaurant when it all started. And I was out to lunch for work. We had a vendor come in and they're like, yeah, there's no toilet paper. He's like, there's no hand sanitizer and there's no toilet paper. I'm like, but why?
Dude,
Right.
Why is there no toilet? I understand the hand sanitizer. Toilet paper? What? Like, I don't get it. So there's that. And then I'm like, yeah, should I go be buying all this food? Should I stock up? And then like a week after I went shopping, I realized that's impossible to completely stock my house because there's snacks and
Well, here's the thing. No one was prepared to, like, even if you were able to stock up, you weren't prepared to live that way.
No.
So, for example, we bought like 2 weeks full of food that we can throw this in the freezer, we'll be good. And, we had it all planned out.
Yeah.
And in like 4 days, it was
Well, what was the Snapchat you sent? Was the like the 10 DiGiorno pizzas?
Oh, yeah.
Who's you guys? Dude, if that was at my house, I was like, those are gone in a week easily. I'm like, it's like midnight.
DiGiorno now.
It's like midnight. You're like, everybody's sleeping. Might as well make a DiGiorno.
Right.
Yeah.
All my friends who are hunters are like, this is no problem. I got freezers full of meat anyway. It's like, oh man, you did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But man, yeah, it was
But yeah, the toilet paper thing, and even today I'll read, they'll have this person survived COVID and here's their account. And I keep scanning every article or interview when did they have diarrhea? And nobody ever says,
No.
my ass exploded all the time.
Yeah.
I puked all over the place.
That's all I needed was toilet paper. Thank God for all the toilet paper that I bought.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said diarrhea.
No, it wasn't a symptom. I don't think there was much of that going on. So yeah, that was interesting.
Dumb flu, that was.
Crazy. Yeah.
So the question is, the next time, say something like this happens, because I mean we were all dying to go back to normal.
Sure.
Do you think you'll be like if it doesn't, God forbid, do you think people will be more prepared this time, or do you think it'll just be the same exact thing? Because people are just going to go right back into normal life, just not thinking about it ever again.
Man, I don't know. If it's, the stores that you needed were still open. They didn't close the liquor stores.
The liquor store stayed
Right.
open.
Thank goodness. Speaking
Grocery
of,
stores stayed open.
Speaking of which, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because all the stuff that you needed. I don't know. Did you do a lot of takeout, or did you guys stay away from? Did you guys stay away?
We decided, I think, to go once a week.
Yeah.
Like to support local places.
Yeah.
But no, I cook pretty well anyway.
Okay.
And my wife cooks pretty well as well. So
So that's good then.
yeah.
Yeah, we do that like once a week or so. Like we'd get like a pizza, and we had it. There's a local place, a small family-owned pizza place right down the road from us. And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, shout out to Pizza Booyah. They had 2 large pizzas for $15.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
amazing.
Phenomenal pizza too.
Yeah, it is good.
And then Dino's was another one of our hot spots.
Yeah, I mean, we did probably about once a week. Towards the end, probably like the last 3 weeks or so, we did a lot more takeout. Like, it was just kind of kids were not having the.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Good luck.
T-Rex arms. Yeah, we just kind of started getting lazy, knowing that things were going to open up and kind of get back to normal. We're like, okay, let's get what we can now, and before everything gets crazy again. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, before we go any further, why don't you give us your dad?
Yeah, we did get a
profile,
little,
introduce yourself, kind of let us know your dad's story.
Sure. So I grew up here in Cleveland. My parents and brothers are immigrants, but they're immigrants from Canada, which is like the least immigrant-y you can be, I think.
I would agree.
My father was a pro hockey player and played here in Cleveland.
Really?
In the 70s, yeah. And then I was born and he retired. I think he had like his second back surgery or something, but they stayed in Cleveland. So I was born and raised here, but I moved after college. I moved around a lot just because. Did stand-up comedy for a while. Lived in Seattle area, Tacoma, Chicago, Maui briefly, and then back to Cleveland. Got married 10 years ago-ish. It'll be 10 years. And now I have 2 kids.
Awesome.
They are 8 years old for the boy, and the girl is 3.5. She'll be 4, I think, in September.
Wow.
Nice.
So yeah,
Man.
is that my dad profile?
That's a
That's
great
a great dad profile.
great
Okay.
dad profile.
Yeah.
I like that. We have a lot to go off there.
Maui.
So, yeah.
Seattle. How's Seattle? I've never been there.
It's expensive, but
Okay.
it's a great town. Again, I didn't live in Seattle. I lived in Tacoma, which is kind of like the Akron of Cleveland. And it was a great town. I met great people there. That's when I started doing stand-up comedy. It was a great scene at the time. But yeah, Seattle's a great town. I've always liked it. And I've been able to go back a couple times here and there to see friends and what have you.
My favorite summer ever growing up, my uncle lived, actually, I think in Tacoma. He had like a farm. And I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, something like that. And I got to fly there and just spend like what I think was like 4 or 5 weeks. It may have only been like 10 days. I don't know.
When you're little, though.
Yeah. But I remember
forever.
it was the coolest thing ever, man. Like we would go, he had this huge garden, and like one side of his property was blackberries. The other side was raspberries, I think. And every morning I'd have to go and take a jug out there and grab these berries. And he was a chef.
Oh,
Well, he was not a professional chef. He was
it's a really good cook.
a really good cook, but he would do like gigs on the side or whatever.
Okay.
But he would make, blackberry pancakes and raspberry pies. He would make all this kind of
sounds
crazy
amazing.
stuff, and it was just amazing. And he had like
Stuff from his
7 dogs and 12 cats, and like I don't know, it was just awesome for a 10-year-old. I got to see the tribe play.
I was gonna say, did you see
I went to
a
the
game?
Kingdom. The Kingdom was still around.
Did you see Griffey?
Yep. It was awesome. it was
Favorite player of all
loudest
time.
place I've ever been in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was super loud.
that'd be awesome.
So yeah, that was a really cool summer. I remember.
It's a beautiful area.
I'd like to go one day.
The fish market thing
Yeah.
was really, really cool. Like you just have these people just like chopping
in the
heads
movies?
off fish
Right.
and just tossing
It is
them.
just like the movies.
It really
where they-
is.
Yeah. I used to try to make it to the fish market once every week or so.
Yeah.
Just I worked in a nightclub, and so man, I probably only worked 3 days a week, and then was doing stand up as well. So I don't know, on Sundays or whatever, it was like a 45-minute drive door to door from where I lived in Tacoma to get to the fish market. It's a great spot.
Yeah.
And the original Starbucks is right across the street from there.
Oh, really?
And the mermaid in the original one, you can see her boobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
True.
okay.
I did know
I did
that.
not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually just took a branding seminar thing, and they were talking about it, and they're like, "Yeah, did you know this is the original logo?" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
You ever see the meme? This is awesome. You ever see the meme where they showed what the bottom half of her looks like because they have those things going over the top of her head?
No.
They're like, oh, it's an inappropriate picture, but it's pretty awesome. Also, to you guys when we're done. So stand up though, man.
Yeah.
How did you get into stand up?
I in college, I don't know. I always wanted to do stand up, but I didn't know. Is that a thing? Like, how do you? You just
Yeah,
always see
like-
people on TV.
Like, oh, just start. Okay.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Sign me up. Where do I?
Yeah, where's that at?
Where's the stand-up store? So in college, I ended up falling into theater, and I hosted a TV show for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And I ran a radio station. So I was doing all this stuff, like kind of just creatively. And the first night, so the reason I moved to Tacoma was my brother had signed with their minor league hockey team there. And he needed help driving all of his stuff from Arkansas, where he was also playing, to Tacoma. And we rolled into town, and all the other hockey players were like, "Hey, we just hang out at this." It was like a Wednesday. He's like, "Hey, we hang out at this comedy club," and it turns into like a bar or whatever afterwards. And I went and talked to the guy and said, "Hey, I did a little bit of stand up in college," and he kind of blew me off. He was like, "Whatever." And then the next night, the team had an away game for a preseason game, I think, and the only place I knew in town was the comedy club. So I went in there and I walked in. The guy was like, "Hey, I got an extra 10 minutes if you want to go up." And I was like, fuck. Okay.
Sure, I'm ready.
Yeah, sure. So I wrote this column for I think 2 semesters or something like that in college. And I just ended up riffing on some of my old columns that I wrote. Got a little buzz beforehand and just shouted on stage. And the guy liked me, and I got really, really, really lucky, and he put me up. He was putting me up like 4 or 5 nights a week.
Wow.
And yeah, I just I liked it. It was a nice way to supplement. I was a playwriting major in undergrad, and it was a nice way to supplement performing and writing at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, I got lucky again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ever. I made money, but it wasn't ever my sole income.
Yeah.
When I moved back to Cleveland a few years later, I was doing 45 minutes. I could go up and headline, you know what I mean? Not be great, but I could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that was that.
Stand up has got to be like I enjoy talking. I'll do, conferences and stuff like that, and do like a 25-minute presentation or something like that. But I have to know my material, and it's more of like a lecture.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Just think like giving a speech at a wedding, right?
Right.
And you're like, I got this, what I think is a zinger.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And you're up on stage and you're a comedian, and it's like, okay, well, if one of my jokes bombed, I would just be like I would just be deer in headlights
that'd
after
be
that.
rough.
And then I wouldn't be able to continue after that. So like
It's
to continue
easy to
on,
be like hyper aware of what the audience is doing.
yeah. Oh, for sure. I would be, they're not reacting.
Well, when you're up on the stage, like the couple times that I've done it, the content that I was putting out there was not expected to be funny, or you're not really gauging your material off of the audience,
Right.
which I would imagine would be a lot different. But even so, I was just like, well, that person is definitely asleep.
That guy's over there texting the whole time. I
That
don't know.
dude's definitely playing solitaire, And that one's definitely trying to hit on that girl at the end of the table. Like,
And how many people were you giving these speeches to?
There'd be like probably like 70 or 80.
Oh, that's a good number.
It's not huge, but it's not small either. Like you're very aware of how many people are there. And then, you got people, and it's a conference. So you got people walking in, late and getting up and going to the bathroom. So it's a little distracting, but yeah, like having to feed your material off of a crowd reaction, I would imagine is an art in itself.
For sure.
Yes, it is. It's definitely a craft. And it's one of the few crafts where you are rehearsing in front of an audience, right? Mm-hmm. So you have new material, but the only place to do it is in front of the audience. So you try to camouflage it in some of your stuff will work, or that stuff that's been tried and true.
Okay.
And that was, for me, that was always, because I had stage fright. So before I get on stage, I would be a nervous wreck, even like all day, which is, considering I had a theater background, it probably should not have been that way. But yeah, I knew I couldn't drink before I went on stage, right? Because I think this is part of my theater background, was like I had to stick to my script that I had, and if I strayed from it or forgot some of it, and that would always happen when I was drinking beforehand, then I would start freaking out in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mixing in the new material is always the hardest thing. Although, I mean, I don't know. When you're doing it every night or at least a few times a week, it's easier.
Yeah.
You get more at ease on stage.
Well, I listen to Rogan a lot, and he's been saying a lot like how he's interested to see when comedy clubs start opening back up is how these like top guys or girls are going to perform, because when you don't get to do it consistently,
right,
it's not necessarily like riding a bike. Like you'll get back, but
The first show is probably gonna be rough.
right, like,
yeah. Well, yeah, some of them. I think the pros. I mean, Joe Rogan's fine,
sure,
right? It's probably like, so I grew up in a hockey family, and I hadn't played hockey for a long time. My brother and I, a few years ago, coached a high school team here in Cleveland, and I was so nervous to get on the ice. I had literally had to buy skates, and I was like, I'm going to look like an idiot in front of these high school kids. And
you're
I
supposed to be coaching?
Yeah. Come on, guys. While I'm holding on to like a chair across me, my helmet.
You got one of those little kids like penguin things
Yeah,
that you have to hold on to.
All right, fellas, follow me.
So I had to go and skate a public skate at the local rink just so I didn't look like an idiot. I think it's like that. Once you get your muscles going, it's probably a little shaky at first. I haven't been on stage I think 10 years as a stand-up, but I'm always writing material. So a part of me is like, I have this just pages of material. I almost am just kind of daring myself to go and do a 45-minute set of all new material that you haven't done on stage, which I don't think that's a comedian's worst nightmare.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But I'm just now, after being stuck at home for these last couple months, I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it, let's just
Yeah.
throw caution to the wind.
Well, there's got to be something freeing about being up on stage and doing it, because I remember the couple times that I've done just more lectures, but once you get into it, the first 5 minutes are all right,
It's a little shaky.
Do I know where I'm at? But then you know your material, so you get going, and then it's kind of like,
Starts flowing.
Yeah.
everyone's here, everyone's paying attention, or at least pretending to pay attention.
Right.
And,
But you get in your
it's kind of a
groove
good
there.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were nights when obviously my kids being born is the best feeling ever, or whatever. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. My wedding night was my favorite night of my life. So
being married and the kids, right? But man, those nights when you're on stage and you know that no matter what you say, the audience is with you and they're gonna laugh and you can do whatever you want. It's the best feeling there is.
yeah, I could only imagine, man.
That's cool.
Feed off that.
And for as much stage fright as I had before I go on stage, getting that first laugh, you can't tear me off of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You should definitely find a club and do it.
I say, there's got to be some places in Lakewood that have you done
There's
them
a
in
lot.
Lakewood?
I mean, I have friends who still do it.
Yeah.
It's me. I think every artist or creative person will tell you this. I'm sure whatever you guys do in your lives, you've experienced this where you're trying to talk yourself out of something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm trying to train myself that talking you out of something means that's something that you really actually want. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Totally. So I'm always talking myself. I'm too old now. Like, who the fuck cares what some middle-aged balding white dude says? You know what I mean? Like, how many of me are there out in the comedy world? It's a dime a dozen. So yeah, I think we'll see.
Yeah. I think that would be super cool. I would like to go.
I'd be in.
You know, I haven't been to a comedy show in years.
You should do it.
When
I went to
lived in
Crystal
Vegas,
D'Elia.
that's
That's the last one I went to.
Gone to that show.
That one was phenomenal. Yeah, and then I saw. I've only seen 2. I saw him and Jerry Seinfeld.
I used to go to
Seinfeld was amazing.
Oh, I bet. He was supposed to do another tour, I think.
I think there's actually one on Netflix right now.
Yeah, he just released one. I think.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. No, I remember when I lived in Vegas, I used to go to like comedy shows, and no one big. Like,
right.
It was just kind of like a Tuesday night thing off the strip at some like podunk casino, and we would go and just hang out because it was like you could go in there and you could play slots for an hour and get like 7 drinks out of it, and then go walk into the comedy club and buy 1 or 2 drinks, and it'd be
perfect night right
be
there.
a great night.
Yeah. Now, did any of the comedians you saw there, did you ever recognize them later?
No, I didn't, and I couldn't tell you any
you
of their
saw?
names, but also. Like I said, I had 7 or
I was
8
gonna say,
drinks
you were
playing slots for the first hour. You know, I used to have my routine where you
thinks
find
he was
out
at
where
the
the
comedy
cocktail
club.
waitresses are, and you'd go into that slot bay, and you would just like put $1 into the machine as soon as that she came over, and you'd be like, "Oh, I lost again. Oh yeah, I'll take a
yeah." That's like your bachelor party. The last night we were there, I super late, and I'm just sitting there at one of the I forgot which casino it was, but I wasn't even playing, but I saw the cocktail waitress coming towards me, and I'm like, damn it, and she's coming by. I'm like, oh, hey, can I get a whatever? And she's like, oh, yeah, sure. I wasn't even playing anything. I was just sitting there, just people watching.
Yeah, you can do
it's
it
like 3 in the morning.
Move around.
Yeah, if you move around.
As long as you move around. I mean, I had no money when I lived in Vegas, so it was.
What were you doing there?
Nothing.
Just living.
So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had nothing really going on here, and I was in 29 Palms, California. We used to make the 2-hour drive to Vegas all the time. Like on a Tuesday night, we would go and make it back for 4
What's
a.m.
that, 5
run.
hours? How long of a drive was that?
From 29 Palms, it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Okay, it's not terrible. But.
So we would like get off of work at 4:30, hop in the car, go party, and then at like 2 in the morning, drive back for 4:30 formation. Like,
to be 21 again.
Miserable, and we always made it back. But
terrible shape.
Me and this other dude got out at the same time, and he was from Chicago, and he was like, "You going back to Cleveland?" I was like, I could. He's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't think I want to go back to Chicago yet." I was like, "You want to go to Vegas?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." We were thinking we could get security jobs at like a casino.
Oh, sure.
Like we had the perfect background for it, and then we realized that Vegas is still kind of owned by the mob, and you can't just go and get a job.
Yeah.
So I eventually got a job as like a business analyst, but for the first like 3 months, I didn't have a job, and I would go play poker for money.
Oh, did it work?
For like 2 or 3 months, and then I got into really bad debt.
Wow.
I was like, maybe I need
playing the old ATM slot machine there.
Yeah, that one was a
that goes to zero.
Rarely won that one. It's like I gotta wait till tomorrow.
Damn it.
But the nice thing is I played my cards right. So I deployed quite a bit when I was gone, or when I was in the Marine Corps. So when I got out, I had almost 7 months of leave.
Wow.
So I was getting paid still. So I really wasn't forced to get a job right away.
Sure.
My gambling made me forced to get a job.
And then move back here.
Yeah, and then move back here once it was very clear that it was not the right environment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough, I'm not a gambler guy, but I get it. Every time I go to Vegas, I've only been there, I think, twice. But any of those, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm that way with bars and just booze. Like,
well,
I have friends who if I just started drinking straight whiskey all the time, you'd never see me again.
Welcome
Ew.
to the first
I gotta water my shit down, pace myself.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, for me, the gambling was more. It wasn't about winning or losing.
Right. Just something to do.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is you go to a town like Vegas, and it's very lonely because everyone's a transplant, and I didn't really know anyone, so I would go to the casinos, and you go find a hot blackjack table, and you say, "All right, I'm willing to spend $200 here," and you just ration it. And if you're having a good time at that table, it is so much freaking fun because everyone's getting
can only
free
imagine,
drinks,
man,
and you're
yeah.
high fiving, and you're meeting people, and then you go to
Could
the
you
bar
smoke in the
afterwards.
casinos at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you still can.
Yeah, I think you still
Still can in
really?
Vegas, yeah.
What a great place.
Oh, it's fantastic.
In Tacoma, we used to go. They have casinos there.
Yeah.
And we
Like
used to,
Indian casinos, or
Yeah.
yeah.
I think one was a riverboat. And they would have like some random Italian restaurant. I think it was the best night of gambling I've had was at this Italian restaurant where I just kind of had like my last $5 and played it on some Caribbean stud. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play poker. And I hit a royal straight flush, I think, for like $650. I was like, I am fucking gone. Thank you.
Right.
Good for you, man,
Luciano's.
because usually people just are like, oh, I'm gonna double
lay it
this.
down.
Yeah, man. I remember those nights. Like there was several nights that I can recall that were just like should have been blurred, and then but you remember like, holy shit, I hit that weird kicker, that weird like gimmick game that you're not supposed to play, you're not supposed to win,
Right.
and like I accidentally put $5 on it, and like all of a sudden I have all this money, and then I proceed to spend all this money that night. But it was
Yeah.
a great freaking night.
Yeah, we would, because I worked in a nightclub, we would all go after we would close like on a Sunday early at like 10 o'clock. And I'd say, okay, I got $50. You know, if I walk out of here without $50, but I'm here for 2 hours drinking with my buddies and having a good time, that's
a good
money
night.
well spent.
For sure.
That's
Yeah, it's fun
awesome.
when it's like that.
Yeah.
It's when you lose a ton. It
Yeah.
just ruins your night.
Oh yeah.
And I've been there.
Who was it at my bachelor party you were just talking about?
Ryan.
Oh yeah, newbie.
Dude. I lost a lot of money that
Are we
night.
supposed to be saying his name?
He's
He's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, he's a really fun dude. He's
He's
this
amazing,
tall,
man.
Swedish dude,
And he's like,
one of the most fun.
he's
you know?
amazing. But man, this first night there, we all went
I mean,
crazy.
we got off the plane and like went like we hadn't even checked in yet. We were walking through the casino.
Well, you missed the first like few hours.
Oh yeah, it was,
Because we went up to the pool right away, and then you had to take a quick break because the flight in was rough.
yeah.
And then we went straight to the casino, bought a few bottles there, went up to the pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, but gambling that night was not so good.
He,
No, we didn't
he
do
blew
that.
his whole 4 days worth of money.
And he didn't leave the room for a while.
Yeah, it
Like-
took like 2 days.
Yeah,
he just
like
didn't leave.
the lights were off in his room.
He was recuperating, or he was just
Depressed.
I think
depressed.
depressed, and he was just like, "Fuck it, I can't do anything, so I'm just."
He
Gonna
just-
stay in
Yeah.
here."
Right.
All the blinds were shut, blackout shades, just
Yeah.
not leaving
Just
the room.
Nick
No
Caging it.
TV, nothing. It was just
Yeah.
we walked in there, we're like, hey man, you want to
You
go to the pool? Nah. Nah, I'm good. But man, yeah, I remember calling to check my balance in my account that after that first
Calling?
night. Oh, I called.
Probably were calling.
It was 2012,
12, 13.
yeah, see, man, whatever. I didn't have the app. But man, I remember checking it. I'm like, oh god, how much money did I lose last night?
It's easy to do.
Yeah,
It is. And then we were all drunk, so it's like, and then I went to bed at like 3, and I woke up at 5 in a panic, like in a cold sweat, like, what the fuck did I do? Oh my god, it's gonna be bad. Better call his girlfriend at the time, so I was okay.
Yeah,
Were we engaged? I don't even know yet, but whatever. It wasn't my wife yet. So
I
was
miss
fine.
bachelor parties. Bachelor parties are fun.
Yeah.
What was your best bachelor party that you've been to? Where was it at?
You know, I don't know if I've had that's a good question. I'm so old now that all my friends got married before I did. And I worked at Put in Bay for a long time. So a lot of my bachelor parties were just happened to be up there because I lived up there. So my friends would be like, look, we're all going to come down there and party for a couple nights.
Right.
And stay on your floor. I'd be like, all right, let's do it.
Sure.
Those are always fun, but I don't know. I guess when my oldest brother got married, and I had just turned 20, we went up to Windsor. And we went to Cheetah's, the famous place. If you've been there,
Yeah.
And man, we had a great time. Got invited to a stripper after hours party because they had gone a month earlier with his friend's bachelor party and like knew all the strippers. So when we showed up, they were like chatting them up and hey, what's up? And I was in heaven. Just hot naked girls all over the place.
Right.
And I remember they were like, well, look, this is where we're going to be at like 4 a.m. So come join us. And we're like, all right, I'm ready. We went back to our hotel. My brother and his friend are passed out. The other group of us were at the casino. And 4 o'clock, and I was up and I was watching the clock because once 4 o'clock came, I'm fucking going to the stripper after hours party.
Right.
And I woke them up and I was like, hey, it's 4. The strippers are waiting for us. And they're like, nah, we're sleeping. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They don't even have booze there. I was like, oh, so if they were ugly and had booze, you guys would be out of bed right now? Let's fucking go to a stripper after hours party.
Yeah, 100%.
We didn't go.
No.
God, now that I think about it, that's
disappointing.
my big life's regret, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there. That was the one. That was it.
I really peaked at 20.
Oh, the good old days.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been pretty blessed. We've had a lot of really good bachelor parties.
Yeah, we definitely did.
You know, it's kind of sad thinking about it all the time because they're done, right? Like there's a couple guys left that maybe, you know,
there's literally like a mosquito in here just floating around you.
Stay there.
Stay at the end.
Yeah, you know, there might be 1 or 2 left, but we're kind of old now.
I know.
Yeah, like if you had to plan a bachelor party now, do you think it would be the same, or do you think it would be, look, let's just all get together, rent a cabin, go golfing?
I think that I would want to
flip cup.
plan for a 25-year-old bachelor party. Got him.
There he is.
Now, once we got there, I don't know if I'd be able to hang.
You're right.
Maybe I could. I don't know.
I don't think 25-year-olds drink now like we used to.
Probably not either. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I was supposed to go to a bachelor party in May, my future brother-in-law, and it was definitely not. It's definitely more of the we were going to go down to Kentucky, go visit some distilleries and play a little golf. And it would have been a great time. I was really looking forward to it, but of course we had to cancel that. So.
Well, yeah, I feel bad for everybody that's got stuff going on this year. Like, one of my wife's good friends her wedding is supposed to be in June, and bachelor party, everything just canceled or postponed, I should say. So that sucks.
I wonder how many people had to get or were going to get married during this whole thing, had to cancel it and thought, you know what? I don't want to fucking get married now anyway.
I bet you that's probably happened quite a bit. There's probably people that are kind of like on the fence, but they're like, hey, we had this place already set up.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we have all this money put into this. And
well, I mean, I would think that that's something like fucking coronavirus. Like, this is a sign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I bet there's people
this
that think that way.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. That's very true. I never thought about that at all. Like,
well, because I know that there was this was a few weeks ago. I was reading this article about how like people that were living together, you know, but not married, and they were doing like a study, and it was like 70% broke up. Oh, during the lockdown versus like you would almost think it would. I don't know. Like, I guess my initial thought would be
if
like,
you're not,
well,
if you start to see what people
really
are like,
see who you are, who you're living with.
Yeah, I guess I wonder what the average time span that they had lived together was. Too.
Right. Yeah.
Like
I mean, there's
just
so many
together.
data points that you have to really look at to see. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I know a couple people that were like, yeah, I was living with my girlfriend for the last 3 years, and then it's like, wow, dude.
That's
insane, man.
That's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, did things really change that much?
Well,
I mean,
I guess it just depends on how, like we were talking before we started this, is that, you guys were still working.
Right.
You had your kids in the house, so that, that's a challenge, but you've already kind of worked those kinks out, along the way. If I guess like in my buddy's situation, it was neither of them were working. So they spent the first, 12 days Netflix and chill. I think that's what the kids call it.
That's what all the cool kids are calling it these days.
Does that mean they're like?
I think that means.
I think they're watching movies and having intercourse.
Yeah.
Okay. Because honestly, just watching Netflix and chilling out sounds all right.
It sounds phenomenal.
Just call it Netflix and fucking. Why you gotta?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I totally agree.
sounds so relaxing.
But yeah, I think if you're not working and you're trying to think of things to do, you're kind of forced to get to know who that person is. Like I saw a bunch of memes. It's like, hey, there's this chick that lives in my house. She's my wife. She's
Turns out she's pretty
phenomenal
cool.
cook. Turns out she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, and those were funny. I was like, yeah, no, that's kind of
Or the divorce lawyers after the quarantine. It's like the guy hiding behind the tree.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
think about it. Like, you are forced to do things to pass the time. You can't really go anywhere in our normal day-to-day lives. Like, even now, like my wife and me and I, we have this system. You know, before this was going down, you know, on Tuesday or on Mondays, I would take my son to his ninja class, and on Tuesdays she would take my daughter to gymnastics, and you know, Thursday we had this. So I mean, if there was 2 nights a week that we were all hanging out together, like we were lucky, like we were happy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so nice. We get to sit down and, you know, watch a movie together, or we get to play a game together, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you went to 7 days. This is what you're doing.
Right.
yeah. And I mean, I'll tell you what, man, that whole thing was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, because my wife, a few days a week, she works till like 9:30. So on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, I get home from work, pick up the kids, and I had a whole routine down, and it's fine. But having my wife home when I get home from work every day, my kids are already at home. I'd have to go pick them up. I'd have to do all this stuff.
Right.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. And then going back to it in the last 2 weeks, such an adjustment, man. It's been tough just getting used to it again. And, but yeah, I mean, for us, it was great for our relationship. I feel like we did.
Right.
She texted me the other day. She goes, she doesn't say actually. She goes, I miss you a lot. She's like, it's weird. I'm like, I know, I do too. I'm like, I haven't heard from you all day.
Yeah.
Like, this is different.
Right.
You know, how many months was that?
It was like 2.5 months.
2.5 months of just.
It was a solid 10 weeks. Yeah.
Now, did you and your wife live together before you got married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
That's
bought
kind of the
a
way it
house
is
before we
now,
got
right?
married, and
Oh, you did.
we were engaged. So we had an apartment together, and then we got engaged.
Fun apartment.
And then we got. I love that apartment,
Yeah,
man. That place is awesome. I was on the second floor of this apartment. It was like a condo.
Yeah, they were like almost like townhomes.
Yeah, they were awesome. But the floor below me was the model, so no one lived below me.
Oh,
so I mean,
like a model.
yeah, okay. Might not be married today because she'd probably want me. No, that's not happening. But yeah, I mean,
Dude, I got invited to a stripper after hours party. You could talk to a model who lives below you.
that's true. I could.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah, all right. So there's this chick, right? She's a model.
You gotta remember, we got a theater major here, so we're supposed to be doing some improv.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So there's this night now. But yeah, man, I don't know. How was it for you guys and your kids and everything? Was it?
You know, we were the same. There was definitely a point not even that long ago where my wife and I were like, this is actually okay. I don't need to go anywhere anymore. I spent 20 years in the bar industry. Like, I'm not itching to go back to a crowded bar or anything. Sure. My son was able to go and do like the online video learning so he could see his classmates.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was helpful for whatever it was, 2-3 hours a day. My daughter, who went to school across the street from us in pre-K, we didn't know, we couldn't like explain it to her in a way that she could understand. She just kept seeing her school and wondered like, why am I not going there anymore? Are they mad at me? Yeah. So that was hard, and it was a big adjustment to kind of help her out a little bit. And I don't know if we did a very good job with that. My wife is fantastic. She's a hero. She is a way better parent than I'll ever be. So she knows like how to handle. It's kind of also her job. She's a doctor of counseling and psychology, and she's worked in social work her entire career. So she knows how to deal with families and childhood development and all that. So I kind of take my cues from her. But like you said, it was great to be able to hang out with my kids. Mm-hmm. My son and I were doing the Fortnite thing. He's got me playing that, and I'm terrible at it. I'm still better than him, which is all I need.
So there you go. If you have that, you're good, man.
So satisfying.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I guess going back to normal, we'll see how it is. Our lives are my life has never been a schedule or normal or anything like that. So yeah, we'll see. We're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're fine.
It's good.
That's good though, because who knows? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
see other
you know,
things
I
happen.
think, I guess at the end of the day, you're fine if you make it fine, right?
Right,
Like it's all about a mindset. Like we went from doing all of these activities to 0 activities.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like a fade out either,
No,
right?
yeah, it was just
tomorrow.
like one day we are closed.
Yeah.
We are not going. I mean,
Yeah.
we went to swimming class because we were doing swimming on Wednesday nights, I think. And
How old are your kids?
they're gonna be 5 and 3 next month. So, I mean, it was like on a Wednesday we went to swimming class, and then on Friday was all locked down. So,
yeah, dude.
yeah.
you know, we.
I
did
still
our
remember
Wednesday,
like
Thursday
trying to
night-
determine, like trying to decide whether or not to take him to swim class,
Yeah.
because I like they were starting to shut stuff down, but I called and they're like, yeah, we're still open, we're good. I'm like, should I be going or like I'm like,
Tell you what, that place was fantastic too. Like when
What is
all
it called?
first-
Goldfish?
Yeah, they
Goldfish is
they were
awesome,
all
man.
You know, it was coronavirus was a thing. Everyone was very cognizant of what was going on, or at least we thought we were. And like you would go in there, and like normally, they're instructors and everything. There's just like a million people working there. I don't understand the business model. Well, it's pretty expensive, so I guess I get
yeah,
it.
but there's a lot of employees,
a
man.
lot of people there, and like you would walk in there, and like they're high fiving your kid, and like, dude, you excited to get in the pool? We're gonna work on this today. Whatever. I love that place.
The place is awesome.
And
man.
like the last day we went, like get my son, his name is Gibson. He's like going around to give high fives, and they're like, oh buddy, we can't do that today, you know, blah blah blah, and like we'll do knuckles, and you know. They were great, and like,
Yeah.
they had somebody else that their only job was to go around and wipe everything down that you touch.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, these guys got it down, you know.
And the next day was shut down.
And then they were shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the place is great, man. I mean, like,
Oh, I can't wait to go.
they're great with the kids. Like, my son was real nervous, and like the nice thing is, like, the parents sit outside of the pool, like they're like through glass, like on the other side of glass and everything, watching them,
Temperature controlled.
and it's phenomenal, man. It's very organized. But the last time we went, he was the only person. Like the first class, there was like 10 kids in there with him.
Yeah.
I mean, probably less, but the last one, we were the only kid in. He was the only kid in that class.
Yeah.
So people were already starting to like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
filter out,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was done.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, with all the activities and things, it's like I want to get them back into everything again. Like the ninja class, there was like, what is that place? Like a
It's a
gymnastics
it's a
gym.
gymnastics gym.
But they have a program for like for kids that's it's called ninja training.
yeah, something like that.
That's awesome,
But it's like
man.
American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of like learning how to tumble a little bit and
Dying for him to get back into
jump
that, man.
from block to block.
Yeah, they're just jumping on these huge trampolines and stuff like that, man.
That's
It's
fun.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I'm excited for them to get
I'm
back into that
excited
kind of
for them to
stuff.
Get back into it because
Yeah.
my kids are just bored.
Right. Yeah. Well, luckily the weather warmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the reaction would have been if it was nice out the entire time and you're just forced to not go anywhere.
It's amazing that like the weather wasn't all that great, but as soon as everything kind of went back to normal, just perfect weather.
Well,
I was like, damn
I
it, man!
said-
Like I was home this whole time. And it was like in the 40s,
Well, I said from the beginning though, it would have sucked if we were in
like
dead
December.
of winter.
Yeah.
Like that would have been really tough. We were almost pretty fortunate that from the time that it was, we had kind of a mix. So there was days where you could kind of be lazy and stay
Yeah, it was
inside
like,
and
okay, we'll watch movies and just
play
chill
video
out,
games
yeah.
all day. And then there was days like, oh shit, it's nice out. Like we're gonna go do a hike. You know, we're
Yeah.
gonna go do this. You know, whatever. And so that at least got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are big park people, but I was telling my wife, I'm like, it just sucks because all the places that we usually go to, there's like all these like what is it, metro parks and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That usually we'd go to in the spring and summer and fall. That there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Not shut down, but just like there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Those places are overrun.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
now they
there
are,
you can't even find a parking spot. I'm like,
Yeah.
this sucks, man. I'm like, this is our spot. Like this is
Yeah.
what we would
Yeah.
do.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
But now it's just packed, man. People are like, oh man, they figured out like these places are awesome. We have
Yeah.
all these amazing places all around us.
We
Now we're gonna
really
start
do.
going. And then I'm like, I want to get some weights for the house because I can't go to the gym anymore.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a bike.
The
Sold out.
search for weights was unbelievable. It was like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Every website
toilet
I
paper.
checked, I went to Dick's. All the bike racks and all the weight racks empty.
Yeah.
Every website back order. It's like, man, I can't find anything.
I found a guy on Craigslist who, when it all happened, he told me that he had a buddy of his who just came upon like 6,000 pounds of weights. And he's like, hey, let's buy all these weights because people aren't going to be able to go to the gyms. And he sold them all. And I think I bought one of his last benches and bars and like 50 pounds or something. And he was like, I had people coming in from Buffalo. I had people coming in from like
genius, man.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
dude made a killing.
Smart.
Played it perfectly, man, because that wasn't. It's impossible to find. Still impossible to find anything.
Or they, I mean, I don't know how much it would cost normally, but charging like $10 a pound or something.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but you could definitely sell it for a lot more right now.
Right.
But
Yeah,
man,
now like, so we're Y people. We belong to the Y in Lakewood. So I would, and they have a good daycare where you can drop your kid off and go work out for an hour and then pick them up. That's the Y just opened up, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
And my wife went, and just like you said, she said everybody, wiped everything down. Everybody's really happy to see everyone again, but the childcare isn't ready yet. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I signed up my kids for their summer camp, like sport weeks or whatever. It's necessary, man. We need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
I mean, these kids are, it's unfortunate, like because the kids don't understand, right?
No,
like
yeah.
it's hard for adults to really comprehend it and not bitch about all these changes, but the kids, they just don't. I mean, the other day, or it was a couple of weeks ago now, Gibbs goes to me, he goes, "Dad, I really love our house, but can we go somewhere?"
Right.
Like, I wish, dude.
yeah, it would be really nice if we could.
Yeah.
like
He said,
my
well, let's just go to a baseball game because that's something my son and I have always done since he was 2. Like, we went to baseball games, whether a captain's game or a tribe game, whatever. I was like, dude, they're not playing. Like,
yeah, it sucks,
it's
man.
like, oh, it's the germ. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's the germ. Yeah, yeah. My kids now, they can't get into daycare right now, so they're going to their grandparents' houses when we have to work. And the first day, my son Sam woke up he fell asleep, and he doesn't take naps much anymore, but he woke up from a nap, and my wife said he was walking to the end of, like, down the driveway, just like out of it from his nap, and he was just crying and yelling for dad. And then my other son woke up from his nap, and he's yelling for mom. And like next day he went to my in-laws' house. They went to my in-laws' house, and then the next day my wife was off, and they were both asking, "Can we go to grandma's house? Like, can we get out of here? Like, we don't want to stay here." I'm like, that was an easy transition.
yeah, yeah.
Because at first it was like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. Because my son's got a whole routine. Like, when I go to work, he would do his handshake with me, and he would just sit in the, just push him back away, and he waves to me the entire time I'm driving down the road. Like, so like now that it's gone, it's like it's a pretty tough transition for him. But it's all right. We're all doing it, right?
Yeah. Hopefully it's over with.
I know, man. It's hard to say what's gonna happen.
Certainly hope so.
Hey, I haven't heard anything about coronavirus since all this week. So I mean, I don't even know.
Right.
I don't know what the numbers are like. I don't know what the heck's going on. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something that they've adjusted the mortality rate, and they're estimating now that like 38% of people would be asymptomatic if they were to contract the coronavirus. It's a pretty big number.
Yeah, we actually have a finger prick test at work.
Oh, do you?
We could just take it if we want.
Oh.
But this one dude I work with is like, I don't know how accurate it is. He went to another place and got checked to see if he had the
Antibodies?
antibodies, and I guess he was negative. But he said the places you'll call, and they'll say that you can't get in. He's like, but you could literally walk into any place right now and just get a test if you want.
Oh,
So
interesting.
So if you want to, it would be kind of nice to know if I maybe had it. You know, it would be kind of good to like.
Yeah.
No.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, for someone like me,
Apparently there's no diarrhea, so.
Well, thank God, because I didn't get to
Doesn't sound
stock up on the toilet paper. So, and let's just go back to the toilet paper real quick. Fuck all those people that were going in and just loading up right off the rip.
Find it.
Yeah.
But just loading up on it, man. Like, for the people that actually were out of toilet paper, like, dude, I'm like, I just need some
I had
because,
to buy like the single ply at one point.
Oh,
dude,
man.
I found some like
it's
Drug Mart,
terrible.
and it was like their store brand, and it was not good. It was like sandpaper, and it was like, well, that's all I could
Did
find
you
right
notice how many different brands came out?
now. Look at the brands
like,
of
toilet
hand
paper
sanitizer.
and hand sanitizer.
Gas stations have like their own brand of hand sanitizer.
Which is good. I love seeing capitalism at work, right? Like I
yeah.
love seeing, hey, there's a need, so I'm going to produce this now and slap a label on
All
it.
we need to do is some aloe
A
and
friend of
alcohol.
mine works for a science-y place in Kent.
Okay.
Sounds amazing.
Fucking nerds. And they had to.
Why am I picturing the Reading Rainbow guy?
I don't know what they do. Whatever.
Science.
But they ended up I don't know what you would say, diversifying a little bit and created hand sanitizer and just had this product out. And then the distillery right down the street from me did that too.
Yeah.
It's smart.
We should have did Talking
super
Dads as a hand sanitizer.
Yeah, we totally should have.
Still can.
You still can.
We could.
You can just peel the label off another one, can't you?
100%.
Slap a sticker on it.
100%. We produced this.
Just say it's made with bourbon. Just put a little brown tint in there.
Made with real bourbon and dad tears.
So you know it's good.
It's bourbon and regret.
Hold on myself.
Oh, that's good. Oh, man.
Jesus.
All right.
So
So
good. So we covered COVID. That's good.
We got that nailed. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, stripper after parties,
Yeah.
bachelor parties. Man, we're killing it right now.
So, so one thing that we kind of started asking is, and we're kind of in it now, where you can kind of go do a couple things, but not everything's open quite yet. So, give us two things. One thing that you're excited to do without your kids when you're allowed to. And that could be something that's not opened up yet or whatever. And then one thing you're excited to do with your kids once you can.
Yeah, the thing I guess I'm excited to do without my kids is just go on a date with my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There aren't too many things that I do without my kids, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
My buddies and I will go, one of them owns a farm out in Pennsylvania. We'll spend a weekend out there and do the guy thing. You know what I mean? Just walk around with our balls hanging out.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to explain that or not, but
I just mean, I didn't want to drinking all day. That's all we did.
Yeah. It's good times.
So, looking forward to being able to do that again, of course, but really just being able to hang out with my wife and have a nice dinner somewhere that I don't have to clean up afterwards.
Yeah,
and then,
clean up.
Yeah. Then with my kids, we're a camping family, so we own a little camper, and we just started booking places now.
yeah, because they just opened up, right? Like for
Yeah. In fact, this weekend, is today Saturday?
Yeah.
Is it still fucking March?
yeah.
I know, right, man?
It's
Jeez.
May.
So this weekend is the Nelsonville Music Festival. Was supposed to be, which is a fantastic music festival, especially for families.
Okay.
Down in Nelsonville, Ohio, which is near Ohio University. If you're familiar with that area or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's
Athens.
yes.
Yeah.
It's the best, and it's the weekend we look forward to for the last 7 or 8 years. And they had to cancel it; they had to postpone it, which is a big bummer. So we're anxious to get back in our camper and do that again.
Okay.
That's fun. Yeah, my wife was actually just talking about. She's like, we should get a camper. I was like,
Yeah.
Chelsea, we haven't gone camping ever. Like,
Yeah, but if you're going to go
with our
camping, that's
kids.
a perfect way to camp for her.
True.
Right?
Is she outdoorsy?
Yeah, she is. She likes to be outside. She likes to go do trails and stuff like that. And we used to go camping a couple times, like before we had kids. But to go put a bunch of money into a camp, I'm like, it's not something that I'm like, if you want to start doing it, I'm totally down.
Just rent one for a weekend then.
Right.
You could do that, and it's
right.
probably cheaper. That's what my brothers do, and they make fun of me because we just bought a new camper last year. And they're like, it's like $200 to set it up for 4 days or something. They come in, set it up, pick it up, and you're done. I was like, they're right. that is a lot better.
Right.
That's a good way to go, man. I didn't even think about doing
I'm
that.
like, we already have so much shit. Like, I don't like storage,
man.
Said camper to begin with would just be such a pain in the ass.
Well, Liz's grandparents, had a enormous camper. Like, just this thing was amazing. They used to take it to Florida and stuff all the time. But her grandpa built this shed or garage for it. It's like the size of my house.
Yeah, I was gonna
the
say
thing was
it's gotta be
amazing,
big,
dude.
yeah.
But man, that thing was awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, they ended up selling it this year, and I'm like, damn it, because I really was. One day I was gonna be like, can I just?
Well, because our kids are starting to get to that
Yeah,
age
exactly.
where
Because
we
now
can
it would have
do
been
it.
perfect.
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, can we just go on a camping trip with that?
You know, my kid-
that'd be amazing.
Both of my kids actually have been asking. My daughter, she's her new thing right now is either one day, so that would be future, or last day, which
could be
past.
anytime.
Yeah, anytime in the past. She goes, Daddy, last day, did we go camping? I'm like, no, honey, we've never gone camping.
I built a
You've
fort
never taken you camping.
with
Yeah.
couch cushions.
I'm like, well, one day can we go camping? Yeah, of course I'll take you camping. So they're interested in doing something like that.
Yeah.
So I would love to set something.
So our idea we've thought of doing is having a little camp out, like in one of our backyards with our
We
kids.
should do that.
Throw some tents out there, get the fire pit out, and just
Dude,
let's do it, man. Because
this
like
would
when I was
have been
little, that's what we
nice.
did, man. My dad would take us camping all the time.
Yeah.
And that was the best time ever, man. I used to love doing that. So I'm hoping to get them into that early on, so they're they find the love for
They
it.
get used to it.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
it's not
totally-
something
Have
weird.
you guys done that with your kids since they were little or?
The camping?
Yeah.
Yes. We so we moved down to Athens. I had a fellowship with the university down there in their playwriting program. So we moved down there when my son was a year and a half.
Okay.
And we went to the Nelsonville Music Festival, which I encourage you to check this place out because I know the people who run it. And they're fantastic, and they do a lot in the community. And this is kind of like a big fundraiser for them anyway.
Okay.
But I don't know if you've ever been to music festivals. I'm not person guy.
I
don't
never
like being
have
around
been.
people. But it is like super family friendly. You essentially camp out. You find it's a land grab, but they have this big area that you just camp out, whether you have a camper or a tent, doesn't matter. And then you're just able to walk into the festival. You have your wristbands or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole kids area. I never feel crowded out there at all.
That's awesome.
They have 3 different stages. One of them's a really small acoustic stage where sometimes the lead singer of a band will just do an acoustic set. And then they have a stage out in the field, and then they have their big main stage. And the music taste runs from, I've seen the Flaming Lips to Merle Haggard there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I've seen Emmylou Harris in the same weekend that I've seen the Decemberists. Who knows if you know them or not. But every year there's there's bands where I'm like really excited to see, and bands I've never heard of that I'm so happy I saw them live.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's great for the kids to be able to kind of go around and get used to being around people and just
That's really cool.
be social. And they have, like I said, they have kids sections where they can just run around and play. But when we first moved down there, we camped out with our son in a tent, and then we bought. This is a good idea as well. We bought a pop-up camper,
Yeah.
which are totally
Those are cool,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could tow them with a lawnmower if you have to.
Right.
And they're super easy to do. And we had one of those for a couple of years.
Okay.
So they've been to Nelsonville now every year of their lives except
that's
for this
cool.
year.
That sounds
really
awesome. So that's what now you said, or is
It would have
June?
been this weekend. It's usually
Okay.
the weekend after Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
To check that out.
And Ohio's got a lot of great camping too. So
sure.
we
It
were
really
able to
does,
hit.
yeah. Like Steve said, I remember as a kid, we used to go with like 3 or 4 other families, and I just remember we would just like all the boys would get together and we would just play baseball for like 15 hours a day. And like now I understand that while we were doing that, my parents were just sitting around by the campfire and just
getting shit-faced.
shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
I know. what happened?
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Man. We had no idea.
No, I mean, we
They
were
get
just
back
like,
there, we're
this
just
is
so
awesome.
happy.
Our
You guys
parents
want
aren't
dinner?
bothering us.
We already ate all the food. Sorry,
There's
guys.
half a hot dog sitting over there on that coal.
Yeah. You guys want some s'mores? Ah, shit. We'll go to the store.
My parents bought a camper when I was like 4, and they just parked it at a camp in Medina. So every weekend we would go there, and same thing. We would run around this camp, go swimming, catch frogs, go on the hayride. And they had that thing until they moved down to Florida. I think 25 years they had that, which was great when I was in high school because they'd be gone on the weekends and I would just have parties.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, same thing. They would just, sit around and just drink beer all day while the kids is able to run around.
And that's phenomenal because like you're not going anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere.
No.
So
Sounds
you're,
amazing.
so you're sitting there. You're like, well, we could just drink all day, and then the kids will come back. We'll eat, and they'll go to sleep.
Right.
And then we'll continue to drink.
Literally sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We could even do that at Bruno's property.
I mean, that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think about like when my dad was the age that I am now, I was 14 and I have an 8-year-old. You know what I mean? And he's a great kid, but I can't just be like, go do
whatever you want.
Fucking tear your ass around the neighborhood. I don't care about it because I don't know.
Because times are different.
Times are different, man. I remember when we would go to Punderson, and my brother Chris would just be at the lake for 12 hours until, like, as soon as the sun came up, he went straight to the lake and fished until the sun. My dad would go pick him up when he was done, and we would just be gone. I would go walking through the woods somewhere. My other brother would go do something else, and like my dad would just chill. And it's like, I can never do that now.
Yeah. Can you imagine like our wives just being like, "Well, where's the kids?"
Oh, they're at the lake, I think.
Yeah, they were at the
they're
lake
probably at the
7
lake.
hours ago.
I haven't checked on them
Probably
yet.
fine.
Maybe I should go check
I
on
haven't
them.
heard any screaming, so I'm
There was
sure
some
they're
weird
good.
dude walking around down there, but it's probably fine in a white van. I don't know. Hopefully he's got ice cream or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just a different time. I mean,
Speaking of ice cream,
do you guys want some ice cream?
no.
Oh, well then I don't know where you're segueing to.
Today,
Wait, do you have ice cream?
Yeah. Wait a second. Speaking
not
of,
an option. Not
damn
an
it,
option.
I want some Dole Whip.
No, today I got home. I had to do some work in the morning. So when I got back, I'm just sitting inside, and my kids were all sweaty. They were just outside with my wife all morning or whatever. So they're sitting inside, and I'm like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Blah blah blah. And they're kind of whatever. They're not really paying attention to me. And all of a sudden, I hear ice cream truck music.
Oh yeah, the ice cream truck come today.
Dude, ice cream
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
Came, and we're like, holy crap. I'm like, so I like ran out to my truck, got my wallet. I'm like, come on, guys, let's go.
No, he didn't get
Flags.
he didn't get the kids. He just went to.
No.
He grabbed his wallet out of his car. And he runs down there. He comes back with 2 popsicles for himself. Guys, I got a Ninja Turtle
Dude, they were out of Ninja Turtles.
and a screwball. They have a screwball.
They did have it. So
There, that's
Sloaney
fine.
got a cherry
push-up?
screwball.
Oh, the old push up, man. The
Sloaney
old
got a
push
cherry
up.
screwball, and Gibbs got a Sonic.
Okay,
which is
Sonic's pretty
basically
solid.
the
Yeah,
turtle.
It's a
The
Ninja
same
Turtle,
little
same thing.
Sherbert.
With the gum
Thing.
in the nose?
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, the Ninja Turtles, like the eyes were always like one was up
Oh,
here.
yeah,
There's
that's
like
the same
this,
thing with Sonic. It was
the
like
most terrifying
green
thing.
eyes, you know.
This guy finished walking
Dude,
through the
they
ooze.
were
Toxic
so
Avenger.
excited.
The
They
Toxic
were
Avenger.
so excited. It was awesome.
I heard
I was a freaking
the ice cream
hero
truck the
for
other day.
$6.
Hey, man, that's the best thing ever. Ice cream truck was down the road from us. I listened for it. I wasn't going to tell the kids because I'm like, there's no guarantee it's coming. I almost went to hunt it down, but never came past my house. I don't want to talk about it too much
It's
more.
amazing that with all the food trucks that are a thing now, that I don't see the ice cream truck. I don't think very much at all.
I think
know.
So I lived in my house for 5 years. The first year, so when my son was like 3 months old, I remember seeing an ice cream truck, and I haven't seen one since.
Oh yeah,
Since today. Or
And so
yesterday.
like today,
whatever
when
it
it
was.
just showed up, I was like, holy shit,
this is still a thing.
this is a thing. Let's
You figure
go.
they'd be out a lot more
And, like, they didn't
now that
know-
everybody's home.
I'm
and
like, you guys, get
you know
your
what I mean? Like this would be.
Well, yeah. Are people inside? Are just fucking driving around the metro parks?
Exactly.
yeah,
Just park.
exactly.
Just park one right there.
But
A food truck.
Yeah.
Like my kids didn't get it though. I'm like, dude, it's an ice cream truck. They're like,
They
what?
didn't hear the Sting
They didn't-
music.
but they didn't
Yeah, that's too bad.
So, like,
like correlate that to
Right.
joy and happiness.
Remember hearing that fucking
They
thing?
will
in the
now.
distance,
You could hear it from a
right.
mile away
Oh,
when you're
yeah,
home, man. Be like, oh my God, it's coming.
Oh yeah, like
the
my
best.
hearing is shit, and I was like, oh my god, is that? Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ian
It's
starts
game
running.
time.
Ian's
Yeah.
he's just sitting in the basement.
When we lived in Athens, we lived in a modular home park,
Gotcha.
which is fancy word for trailer park.
Yep.
And
Thanks
it
for
was-
clarifying. That.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
For those who don't know,
For those of you at home, I was air quoting modular home park, and just some random day, and we were like off. We were nowhere near anybody, and our like neighborhood was not near anything. There's no reason this would happen. An ice cream truck came through, and I was like, "What is happening? This is awesome!" I chased the guy down, just like you said, and my son's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "It's fine, you'll love it."
Here your socks.
Trust me.
The guy stopped, and I was like, "What are you doing here? Are you from heaven?" He was like,
Who sent you?
yeah. How did you know we
God
were here?
bless you.
Can you send help?
6 years.
It was amazing. He was like, I don't know. We were just driving around. I was like, oh, fuck. You nailed it.
Here,
Killed
take
it,
my
dude.
$3. Right.
Yeah.
Worth it.
How are the prices the same as they used to?
$3 a piece.
No. Yeah.
No, not like it used to.
Yeah.
but
God,
it was
man,
$3.
you like have like 75
50
cents.
Yeah.
I got out of there for $6. So for two
Yeah.
ice creams.
Guess
I didn't even get anything.
You know what? I'm gonna drive through your neighborhood tomorrow in my car.
If it's there,
I just,
no,
yeah.
I'm just gonna drive by with some loud music
oh, you should.
and
ice
just
cream sandwiches in the truck.
Yeah.
like it's Steve.
I'll
Cool.
take an ice cream sandwich.
Gabe just walks
I'll
like
give
this.
you $3.
All right, maybe I will. Stop at Dairy Queen. It's all melted ice cream.
Just
Here you
call
go.
it
You guys want some ice
sanitizer.
cream?
Here you go. Deal with it.
Sanitizer truck.
Damn it.
Toilet
Ah.
paper and sanitizer.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's toilet paper man's here.
God, how are we not millionaires already?
We should have made a sanitizer truck and just drove around neighborhoods.
Just
When we
squirting
were
everybody.
talking about when we were
Come by, we'll spray
ordering
with
out
Lysol.
or not,
Yeah.
I was gonna say when all this stuff first started, I was doing a lot of remodeling at the child care centers that I operate, and so I was doing a lot of takeout. And the one place by us, it's a Hooli House. They were including a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
every order. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Was it restaurant toilet paper?
Yeah, it was. So it was not good toilet
No,
paper,
yeah.
but it was toilet paper.
Yeah.
So in a pinch,
Sure.
Oh.
So to speak.
Oh, which one am I hitting
Oh,
here?
is there?
thank you.
I thought it was going to be
pinch.
like a turd dropping in the water.
Ooh,
You don't have that sound effect?
it's like diarrhea.
That's not a thing anymore, man.
Oh,
Ruined that button.
I was trying to, make it bathroom related.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought that was a nice little marketing.
That was
Yeah.
a good idea. You had a lot of Chipotle too while you were there, so
I did eat a lot of I haven't had Chipotle in like over a month now, and it's glorious.
I had it once during the entire quarantine.
Dude, I was eating it a lot.
I was right there.
Yeah.
I made a really nice steak dinner last night.
Ooh.
I got my steaks down to a science.
Okay.
And my wife and I were sitting there after we ate, and it was probably a hour later, and I was like, I could fucking go for some Taco Bell right now. And I fucking ordered Taco Bell.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with
I
that.
had never used Uber Eats, and I
Oh,
was
really?
like, I'm just gonna fucking order Taco Bell.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've had the
No.
Taco Bell craving before.
Yeah.
What kind of steak guy are you? What's your favorite cut?
Just a New York strip, I guess.
You like a strip?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to be a strip guy.
Yeah. What are you now?
I'm definitely a ribeye guy now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ribeye.
ribeyes are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little fattier,
Right.
But there's more flavor.
Yeah.
And then I've also
some good
learned
marble in there.
recently. I used to always cook my steaks slow because I just
Sure.
thought that was the right thing to do.
You gotta sear it.
It's not. You got to go fast.
Well, what do you mean?
High heat.
Sorry, I just had to hit that one.
No, going fast and just like
So how do you-
searing super hot.
Okay.
Sear it.
Sear it.
Flip
Flip
it
it.
once and then done. Let it rest. It will internally cook
Sure.
for another couple minutes. And
On the
it's
grill?
Perfect. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I threw my grill away
Oh.
because I just never used it, and it was a piece of shit anyway. I have a cast iron skillet,
There you go. That's
bacon grease that I always have a jar of bacon grease that I keep in my thing. And like you said, I sear it for 4 minutes, put it in the oven, flip it over, put it in the oven at 420, just so I can remember
Oh,
it.
nice. Yeah.
For another 4 minutes, and like you said, let it sit, and it comes out perfect every
Nice.
time. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
it is a good way to do it. So I looked up online like the best way to do it, and that's the best way to do it.
yeah. I think some people maybe bake it before they sear it. I don't know.
Yeah, I sear it. Same thing. Throw it in the oven, and man, a lot lot of butter.
Yeah,
Bacon grease, though.
Dude, the other day we made steaks.
sounds like a good idea.
And we had what the hell was going on? Oh, it was my son's pre-K graduation via Zoom.
sure.
So, everyone was a little bit more comfortable, and my in-laws came over and everything else. So it's like, it's a beautiful day. I'm gonna cook some steaks. So I went and got a bunch of steaks, and I made my own garlic butter
Oh, okay.
to do with the steaks. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Garlic and butter, man. That's all you need with
Dude,
anything.
Yeah.
Some fresh garlic, and I just like made this. And so what I did is I took this big freaking hunk of butter and put a bunch of fresh garlic in it, and then I just put it next to the grill while I was initially cooking, like heating it up, and then put the steaks
Pour it on.
and then it just like got like
yeah.
oh, it's great.
Fresh basil sometimes.
Oh,
in the
basil.
summer
Yeah,
too.
there you
Chop it
go.
up a little bit.
Okay, I like basil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And same thing with burgers, though. Like flipping them and everything. You're supposed to do it once.
once.
You gotta keep that juice in there.
and don't press them
Do
down.
not
I used
press
to
it.
always do
Yeah.
that.
Everybody did.
Because you like the
it's
noise.
like
You like that.
you
Yeah,
like the
exactly. Get a little
noise,
flame
and you're
go,
like, oh,
extra
I'm
flame
grilling.
going.
I'm grilling.
No, you let
Right.
that
This is
shit
what I'm
sit
doing.
and keep that
Yeah.
juice in there.
I'm a man. I'm grilling.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
But no.
Speaking of being a
Flip 'em
man,
once.
I had to mow the lawn today,
Ooh.
and I had to do it while Liz was at work. These little effers were just. It took me an hour and a half to do the front yard, just being kids. Every bike, car, toy was in my front yard. At one point, I didn't even realize it, but they were down the street. The dog was with them, and
Well,
I'm.
no, you're covered then.
Oh, the dog. No one's going near.
Teddy's
No one's going near
solid.
going them when the dog's by him. But I'm walking, and all of a sudden I look over. I'm like, they're not here.
How old are they?
2 and 4.
Okay. Jeez, you guys.
So I look over and I'm like, oh my God, they're gone. I look down the street and they're both down there. My son's on his balance bike. My other kid's on his bike, and the dog's is walking with them. But man, I'm like mowing the lawn with those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need some other supervision because I'm focused on my lines the whole time.
Sure.
Man.
Dude, I don't dare try and mow my lawn when. Yeah,
I had
you
to.
have to focus on the lines.
Dude, the lines. It's all about the lines.
Yeah.
I'll make
Dude,
fun of you if I come over and your lines are fucked up.
No, you came over the other day. Lines
they
are
were
okay.
great.
They're on point.
Do you rotate? Like,
Yes,
which way?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. You don't want
key.
to. You know.
I mean,
you know,
you
right?
have to?
Dude, but you should.
Okay.
It's
Well,
recommended.
unless you're gonna roll your yard every year.
No. Who does that?
Some people. My dad used to.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? You get
Yeah,
like
where
the
you
big
put it on the back of
roller
the-
and you fill
put it on
up
the-
with
Yeah.
water and
Yeah.
you put it on the back of the thing and yeah.
I never heard of that.
So do you
Yeah.
rotate? You don't rotate lines? I mean, do you always stay in the same?
Sometimes if I'm into it.
Here, I do every
My yard
every.
isn't that big. I live in
Listen,
Lakewood.
every week-
so-
By September, you're not fucking changing it. Like
Yeah.
you're just like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm
Yeah.
not into my lawn anymore.
Right.
But like
At the-
this
no,
time
like,
of year,
dude,
oh yeah.
Last year I was mowing the lawn until December.
I got like 5 different rotations that I do.
So
Do you have a big yard?
It's not that. It's
So
just
here's
a
the thing, though.
quarter
Like,
acre.
I don't want to. So with how wet it was today, and my grass is thick, I have to rotate it because I don't want to get the lines imprinted. So
Right.
it's like
I mean, that's the whole
killing the
reason
grass
you
in between.
change it.
So I go back and forth, up and down, and then I go diagonally.
Yeah.
Do you ever do like just do the circle around it?
I haven't on this yard. My parents' house, yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
used to
I
do
used to
the circle because I had the rider, so I was going like I do the loop.
Do you bag it?
The front yard I do. I don't bag the back.
Yeah, fuck the backyard. Who
Backyard,
cares?
no one sees it.
I don't bag.
My
But I
my.
cut my grass like this time of year. I cut my grass like every 4 days.
Dude, for real.
You
I
have to,
should be
though.
bagging
I
it
let my-
'cause now
I-
I get that grass in my lines or whatever.
Exactly, but go through with the leaf. I mean, it just depends. Right now, it's the beginning of the season.
Dude, the
I think
first day-
the further we go into the
Oh,
season,
yeah.
I'll probably just be
No,
like,
you get less and less,
whatever.
you care less
I'm like,
and-
I'm gonna
Well,
at
it
some point, I'm like,
starts-
I'm gonna scalp it
It
because I
starts
don't
to
want to mow
dry
anymore.
out. Yeah, like we'll hit July and it'll be freaking hot and humid and there'll be no rain. And
Yeah.
we'll just.
And I don't have a sprinkler system, so and right
And
now
I'm
I'm all
too
about it
lazy
because
to
it's
put
been.
it out.
I think I've been excited to get the lawn in shape since it's
get out
spring.
there and be nice.
You know what I mean? I think as it goes on, I'll probably give a shit.
My son, he's 8.5 ish, and I'm just counting down. I'm thinking 10 is the age that you make him mow the lawn, right? 10, 9.
I don't know.
I feel like I did it earlier.
Okay,
But
I think I was.
My
9
dad
or
was
10.
a cop and he was never home. So
I had 2 older brothers, so they were
feel-
mowing
oh,
it.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know that I trust my kid to mow my lawn.
Well, he's 5 now, right?
Well, but even
Hey, man,
like,
you know what?
If he's hypothetically 18.
Right.
Also, I really enjoy my hour and a half
Yeah.
that I get to put my
Yeah.
headphones on.
Right.
And
let's
mow
just say
the lawn.
this: we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much you're like? All right, I don't feel like mowing
Again,
the lawn.
if it's
Right.
September or August, yeah, you can mow the lawn.
Or like this time of year when you're doing it 2-3 times a week, just
Right.
be like, hey man, get out there
Yeah.
and fucking do your job.
right.
True.
My daughter, when I mow the lawn now, my daughter will run out. She's the outside girl. She will be like a ski bum before long. But she'll grab her little bubble maker lawnmower
Yep.
and follow me around.
That's
Yeah, my
just
kids both have the lawnmowers out, and then
Yeah.
they have their one. They have the leaf blower. It's not a real one, but which my son gets pissed about that it doesn't blow leaves around. And then there's a weed whacker, and they follow me around with those. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cute.
that's
You know, we got
Right.
a lot of pictures of
And
that.
they stay in the yard.
And they stay in the
Yeah.
yard, but then they get bored after taking an hour and a
they
half to
take
mow the
off
lawn,
down
and
the
then they're down
street.
the street. So
Yeah.
But they're with the dogs, so you're good.
You're too worried about your lines
I know
rotating.
Listen, he has great lines.
they're pretty good. They're a
Everyone
little,
everyone
actually
talks
the
about
last
him.
they're talk of the town, man.
People drive by your house like slow roll
They're like,
you like
"Oh
you
my
got Christmas
God."
lights
It's like,
out.
yeah,
Look at
right,
those
right.
fucking lines. You know what? Last week they went the other direction.
This guy right here.
guy knows
He's
what
an
he's
artist.
doing.
Pull a fast one on us.
Wow, do you think he resides every year? No, he doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't
Look
have
at
to.
the
Look at
lines.
those
The lines are
fucking
different every
lines.
time we come here.
Look at those lines.
I just got a new weed whacker,
Oof.
and
Good times.
I edged everything because my old one was a curved shaft.
Okay.
Sure.
That's what she said.
Sorry.
So I got a straight shaft.
Oh, the curve shaft. Okay, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying now. All right, I'm like, what is
So
curve?
now I can actually like edge properly.
Yeah, hold it up,
Oh
man.
my god.
I'm all about the edging, man.
Amazing.
Difference.
All about the edging.
Amazing.
How you guys really care about your yards, man?
I have like 3 neighbors around me that have perfect lawns. So like, I'm just like, I have to fit in because I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And when I see them mowing the lawn, I have to get out there and do it. And it's been killing me this week because I haven't had the time to do it until today. And yeah, I mean, I really. What's that? I got out there. Oh, fuck the backyard though. I didn't touch the backyard today.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Backyard. Well, especially you got a fenced-in yard.
No one could see it.
Yeah,
it's
you're
fine.
good.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Totally.
What are you gonna do?
All right, good.
I like that we just did like a
covered
30-minute segment on
Lawns. Hey, we did all the man stuff right now. We talked about steak
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
I
lawns.
do want a steak.
Hey, do you have any? Do you have some Air Monarchs yet? Or are you not into that?
I don't know what that is.
You know those shoes, the dad shoes?
No.
Oh my gosh. We'll get into it after this.
Are they like? Maybe I know what they are.
like
No, I
or the
don't
New
have 'em.
Balance? They're like the white shoes,
White and
like
blue.
It's like I feel
Mostly
like
white with some blue trim on them. It's like the
when you see it,
dad shoe.
when I show you, you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put it up there. You don't throw it across the
I
screen.
don't.
It's
have
been a
'em.
while.
I'm not a shoe guy either.
I don't have them. I don't have them. But I feel like at some point you have to just get them. I feel like you just when you reach a certain point.
You throw on your Air Monarchs. You make sure your jorts are secured with a nice web belt.
You get the old braided belt, man, and
Yeah,
some
the
high
or
socks.
The braided belt. Yeah,
Get some-
not the web belt.
Oh yeah.
I knew what you meant though. Get some high socks
a
on some
nice
knee socks.
tucked-in- a nice tucked-in cutoff.
Cut off is even better. I was gonna say. Oh man.
And a good like Castrol hat or something.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
that.
Right.
Oh, we do need to get one of those. I thought you were gonna say visor.
Oh,
Visors were cool when we
visor
were
would be
younger,
nice.
man.
No, I remember them. I never got.
The old
sick.
Nike visors.
Of a visor.
Yeah, I'm too bald. You're
Yeah.
Like literally, what
But you get
is
those
the point
visors
of
with
a
the
visor?
hair, like what? You see the ones
Oh,
with the
yeah.
fake,
like the Guy Fieri.
yeah, Fury,
yeah.
Fury, whatever his name is. Whatever. All right. So also on our podcast, we like to do a couple different things. So it used to be like just a proud dad moment. Okay. So a proud moment for you as a dad that you're proud of yourself, or a proud moment of your kids. So like a proud dad moment, something that I don't know that you find yourself.
Well, so here's the thing. When we first started this,
It was just being proud of
what
the kids.
we really wanted to do was come up with a way for dads to really take a step back and think about what are you proud of your kids for?
Yeah.
And then we kind of realized that, like, hey, you can be proud of yourself. You can be proud of your wife. Like,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it kind of forces you to think about, like, some moment with your kids. And maybe it was 8 years ago, or maybe it was last week, where you're like, oh, I'm actually proud of that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important.
Sure. That's a good question. My wife, when she listens or watches this, she's gonna be on the edge of her seat right now to know what I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my kids, and there isn't a moment that goes by when I am not grateful for the children that I have, because they're healthy, and they're perfect kids. You know what I mean? And I know that parents have things that they deal with on a daily basis that I'm fortunate that I don't have to deal with. Even something as seemingly simple as my kids just always slept really well.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Mine too.
Yeah, I mean, and I know people who have had to stay up all night with their children until their kids were like 5-6 years old.
Right.
And I've been lucky in that sense. So there isn't a thing that my kids do that I'm not proud of. They're really smart. They're really kind, which I think is probably my favorite trait.
Super cool.
Yeah. And really, they're like uber smart. So my son this year, we enrolled him in a Chinese immersion school, which is called Gala, and they in Cleveland, and they speak Chinese 70% of the day.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and he picked it up right away. So my wife speaks or was a Chinese major or something like that, or a minor in college, and he already knew more than her. Like after he'd been in the school for a month or two.
Whoa.
Yeah, and my daughter she was 2 years old. She knew all of her letters, her colors, her shapes, her numbers, like knew everything that kindergartners don't know.
Right.
And she's the one who is smarter than all of us. She's like just an adorable, because she's also kind of evil, I think. Like she's plotting.
Second child.
Yeah, she's definitely
Daughters are.
plotting to take over. She's like an adorable Lex Luthor. So I don't know. I'm just overall in general, I'm proud of my kids. I'm also, as far as proud moments as a dad, I don't know if I have that ability. I was like, I was really proud of my wife, and just when she gave birth to both of our kids, but even our son. For me, it was just like this heroic journey that we were on. And she went all natural in this whole thing. And I was scared as hell throughout the entire process. And we did what's called the Bradley method, which is like dad-centric birthing or something like that, which essentially means we had to take all these classes. And essentially means so that she could focus on giving birth and the labor. I am meant to be the go-to for the doctors and nurses. And like, I had to know all this stuff so that if they had a question, I could answer it. Or if I had a question, I knew what I was asking for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it was like a 23-hour labor or something of like serious pushing. We try to do in the birthing tub and that whole thing. And then, when he finally came out, it was such a, obviously you both know, it was amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And there was a moment about 2 hours before he was born where she was really struggling. I mean, she was really pushing hard. And there was something about the way, something sciencey about the way that her body was, where there was like a bone or a dip or something that he just couldn't get through. So he would go out a little bit and then go back. And you just couldn't get him through there. And the midwife that we had, who we didn't know before this, or the regular midwife just wasn't there, was like, I don't think your wife can do this. Like, I just don't think she can do it. So we're going to need to inject her with something. And I was like, well, is the baby okay? Yes. Is my wife okay? Yes. And I was like, don't tell me what my wife can and cannot do. Like, she's like, I know my wife.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Especially don't let her hear you say
exactly.
that. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah, don't put a doubt in her mind. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
And then the nurses, who were great, except for this moment, like kind of got my wife's face and were like, why don't you want this Pitocin? Why don't you want this? What are you afraid of? And I was like, look it, y'all, back off. Get out of here. We're fine. We'll tell you when we need you. I was really kind of angry, but fortunately, because we had all these classes and training and whatnot, I think it helped anyway that she didn't have to stress out about that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool.
That is awesome, man. And good for you, man, because going in, I was blind.
Yeah, and one of the things I always tell people when they're going to have, especially their first baby, is like, look, go on the YouTube and watch every birthing video you can watch.
Yeah.
And sit there for weeks and just watch them all so that you know, of course it's gross. Of course it's scary. It's the worst. Nobody wants to be there.
But also the best.
But yeah.
But it is the best, man. And I've talked to people that were like, don't look. Don't do, you want to be, you don't want to be scarred for life. It's like, dude, like I went in there and saw everything and I'm glad I did. And you know what? It was amazing. And it was the best thing to see your child for the first time. And like, the whole experience is amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not the kind of guy to be like, oh, I'm too macho to be. I don't even want to be in the room for it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all that.
So
I'm not about that.
I know with ours, so we had a very long first labor. It was like 34 and a half hours. Like miserable. Now my wife, and she had Pitocin and everything else, but like she didn't want to, but like we eventually got to the point where they had to. But it was kind of the same thing where they were like, look, this needs to happen. And now they told us, like, at this point, like, it's safety of the baby, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, fine.
Right.
But what I kind of realized afterwards is I think that they do, like, not sure they can almost, like, inject some adrenaline and say, like, get some kind of, like, well, fuck you, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that was the case in your guys' situation, but, like, afterwards we were talking to the nurses, and, like, my wife was like, dude, when that shift change happened and that nurse was like, listen, bitch, you got to do it. Like, that's when I started realizing that I could do this, you know? So, I don't know, man. It's like, that would be a tough job for me.
To what? Be a doctor?
Just be a doctor. Like, I guess in the OB, like.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably used to it by now. I don't think.
Sure.
They go through so many.
Man, I don't know.
I think a lot of times they kind of play mind games,
Yeah, well, so there's this documentary that we watched called, I think it was called The Business of Being Born.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, Ricky Lake produced it.
Yeah.
It was
Fucking
really
Ricky Lake.
right. Who knew all this time?
Ricky Lake.
And it was really helpful to know, like, what is the motivation? I mean, essentially the thesis of the documentary was, look, hospitals are a business now, and they're flipping beds,
Right.
And they're going to tell you need all this stuff when you may or may not, just so they can get you out of there, right? And I think it's why I tell people, like, be as informed as you can before you get in there, not just because the experience is going to be traumatic. I mean, even if it's great, it's still traumatic.
It's still traumatic, right?
But also so you know what's happening, and that's why, like you said a minute ago, these guys are like, it's fucking gross. I'm not gonna. Look, no, man, this is the scariest day your wife is ever gonna have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Be a support.
Be fucking there.
Yeah.
That's what being a man is.
Right.
Absolutely. That's your
100%.
job of being a team and getting through it together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and
just,
if you can't show up when she needs you the most, then what the fuck are you doing?
exactly, man. Because they're going through all this shit, and we're just kind of hanging out. Like,
We
you know
have
what I
a
mean?
good deal.
Yeah,
We have a great
real
deal
good.
because I couldn't do it. Like, I'll be honest with you guys right now.
Burrito like 6 hours before my son was born. My wife's just staring at me with her fucking ice chips and like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
Well, yes.
And our bodies change because we're lazy. It's not because
we can
I get that sympathy weight going, and then they lose it, and I'm like, mine's sticking around. But yeah, man, it's a crazy thing, but it's the best. And like, you should be informed on everything that's going on because of all the things that could go wrong in a birth too. Like, we're extremely blessed with all that because both my kids were quick and easy, and it was awesome. I know, I'm sorry.
Nothing about your second kid was quick and easy.
His birth was, but afterward, but leading
like,
up to it and everything after, my son had
but not easy.
No, my second son,
give
Ben.
yourself a little credit.
Yeah, it was awful. Actually, the other day, so my son had a heart defect, and then we found out about it at 20 weeks. And I actually on my phone came up a picture of us in the ultrasound.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of the guy taking the ultrasound because I was excited, right? But like, I sent it to my wife. I'm like, man, it's amazing what happened right after this picture was taken because 20 minutes like of him looking at everything, we found out that something was wrong because he was just, in an ultrasound with they're looking at everything, and he was just floating around like one area for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh God, he's not saying anything. So we found out like right then that he had a problem, but the birth was easy. Yeah. After he was born, it was like a complete shit show for 2 months, but he's fine.
And how is he now?
He's fine. He's great. He's a maniac.
He really is.
He's
and
a little hellion.
He's also the culprit at everything wrong at my house.
Oh yeah.
So my daughter is like obsessed with his son. Like, it's hilarious, and not in like a weird way.
Sure.
Just in a, if something is wrong, I'm like, Sloaney, why did you take my shoes and put them in whatever room? She'll be like, oh well, Benny did it. I'm like, well, Benny hasn't been here in 4 months. Well, Benny did it last day. Like, no,
his wife's been sending us Snapchats of it too.
She's
Man,
been
it's
doing
hilarious.
Like Snapchats, like what has Benny done today?
Yeah, it's like
it's really funny.
It's like a ripped page in the coloring book. She's like, "What happened here?" She's like, "Well, Benny did it." I'm like, "Damn it, Ben!" I'm like, oh, my son has been over there just wreaking havoc on the Lewis household for the past couple of months.
Apparently, you might not know because he's like 4 houses down in the neighborhood. You just
so
don't know.
like with him, so like it's a second child thing, right? Like the second child is just like is nuts.
Yeah,
they just don't give a shit. And like if my son is throwing a temper tantrum, my older one, like if I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Good luck. See ya. I'll walk a little bit further down the road.
Right.
He'll get up and chase us. Ben, he'll just sit there and he'll be like, fine, I'll go this way then. He'll just leave. He's like, I'm not afraid. I'm gone. The other day he threw a temper tantrum, and his temper tantrum was throw his bike down on the ground and go stand in the middle of the street crying. I'm like, dude, we're in a cut-through street here.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't care. He's nuts.
He survived worse.
He did. The kid's he's awesome. He's great. So
So you both have 2 kids. Do you feel like you're gonna have more, or that you would want more?
I am done.
Yeah. Did you get the surgery done?
No,
Okay.
but I am. So it was very much. So before coronavirus, it was me saying I'm done. But I understand that my wife makes the rules.
Sure.
So
yeah, let's be serious.
she was
here.
kind of iffy.
Right.
So we're very fortunate that we, got to have one of each. And she still kind of wanted one more. And I think through this whole thing, she's like, yeah, we're done.
Oh, good.
So I'm waiting for the
Green light?
official green light. to
Yeah, I mean, you
say,
probably
"Let's
need
go get a
another.
vasectomy."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm
Yeah, I don't know, man. My wife is still wants one, but
Dude,
there's
think
days that she
about-
doesn't.
Think about so we have friends with 2 boys. We have a couple different friends now.
Trust me, I know.
With 2
I
boys
have this
that are
conversation
going
every
for
time.
The third, and they
I have a third boy.
2 of them are having a third boy.
Oh.
Yeah, so, man, I would love to have a daughter because, first of all, every time I come onto this podcast and somebody who has a daughter, all they talk about is how great a daughter is. And I
Yeah.
just like him, like, they're like, oh, man, it's the best thing in the world,
I
and you
think
suck.
men overcompensate for it. I mean, listen, my daughter's great, but my son's awesome too.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
understand where you're coming
No,
from.
it's
but I
just
think
usually
that we
like,
do
and then it's like,
overcompensate.
okay, well, I'll just turn my mic off for the next hour. But no, I would love to have a daughter. I have 4 nieces. I have 3 goddaughters, but I don't have a daughter. And I love the idea of having a daughter. At the same time, I don't know if I could have a third child. I just don't know if I have it in me right now. And my wife is up and down with it. Like some days, like she's like, we definitely need to start planning for this. And I'm like, no, we don't. I'm all set.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. Like, especially after this whole thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
now if we were to have another child, like, my oldest would be like 5. So maybe things might be easier. I don't know.
Fuck
about
no,
that.
it won't be easier.
No, I don't
3
know.
kids under the age of 5?
No, I don't think I could do
No,
it, man.
man.
My parents did it. I don't know how, but
Yeah.
man, I don't think I could do it. I don't know. if
I mean,
could
your
do it, man.
parents, I don't know about your parents, obviously, but generally speaking, the previous generation was a lot younger when they had kids.
For sure,
right?
for sure.
But I love my kids. I'm so happy about my kids. I cannot fucking imagine having to do this all over again.
No.
There's no way.
I mean, I
No
hear
way.
people with like my brother has a daughter who's just turned a year old, and she's going through the teething and stuff, and
Right.
I'm like, damn, man, I remember all that stuff.
Dude, I
can't
forget
even-
about that stuff.
Yeah.
like just not sleeping. Like my kids go to bed and they don't wake up. Last night was a random
Yeah,
night.
sure,
My son
you're
woke
gonna
up,
have
but,
your random nights. Where
but like
it's-
my kids usually sleep through the night and there's no problems. And my kids have always been great sleepers.
Yeah.
I feel like if I have a third, I'll be like, nope, this one's not going to be
fucking nightmare.
This one's not going to
Yeah.
sleep. This one's not going to do
almost out of
this.
diapers. I'm so close to being out of diapers.
Yeah,
I
so
just
are
don't
we.
want to do it again.
No. It
No.
took my daughter forever to
Dude,
potty
everyone
train.
told me that daughters are so easy to potty train. My
Especially
son
if they're
was-
younger because they watch your.
My son
yeah.
was so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter doesn't give a
I don't
fuck.
think
no.
I don't think it matters. My second doesn't give a shit about anything with the bathroom.
Maybe it's just the second. Because like Sloan,
I'm like, don't you want to do what he's doing?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
don't you want to go on the potty like Sam? He's like, he'll say potty and he'll go sit on it for a second. And he'll push.
Dude,
and he'll be
we
like,
have, like, a
he goes,
timer.
all done, and he gets
Yeah,
up and leaves. I'm like,
yeah.
you're not done. You didn't do anything. And then he'll go pee on the carpet somewhere.
We have like a timer, especially being home. I was like, all right, well, this is a really good opportunity. We're gonna get you potty trained. We have like a timer, and like every 15 minutes, I'll ask her, and I don't force her to go, but like if it's been like an hour,
She's
like
almost
that-
3, you said?
Yeah, she's almost 3. And so like it was a couple days ago, and she sat down. She was like, "No, I don't need to go." I'm like, "Okay, fine. Like I'm not gonna force you to go. I'm not gonna sit there and make you cry."
Right.
And like 3 minutes later, Daddy, I'm like, what? I pooped.
Oh, I know. God, fucking that's
bitch.
the worst.
I know, man. I can't.
My daughter did that for
Come
a
on.
year. And the thing about potty training her is, I just assume she knows how to wipe her chucky. Like, I don't know which, I'm not going to I'm just like, here, I just assume tens of thousands of
Makes
years
sense,
of
right.
like
Yeah, just
evolution
figure-
means
yeah.
you know how to do this. Just, I guess, front to back, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
But when she shits, I got to be like, all right, touch her toes and I'll wipe that. And her ass is always wet, which I don't know how that happens. I don't understand.
Dude, my son's
Big splashers, man. I don't know.
My son's about to be 5. So the other day, like, he was like, Dad, I need help. I was like, why? Like, you've been potty trained for a couple years now. Why do you need help? And so, like, I'm just standing there and I'm watching him. So the dude, like, unrolls like 15 sheets of toilet paper and then takes one finger on one of the sheets. I'm like, dude, when did you start doing this? Like, we had this down. He's like, this is just easier. I'm like, fuck no, it's not. Look at your fucking drawers over there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, look at your underwear. I'm like, he goes, oh, itchy. I'm like, well, because you don't.
Shit.
And I'm like, you know what, man? I'm like, just.
I'm like,
He unrolls it like you said, and he goes, and he like touches his butt cheek.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that doesn't do anything.
no, that's not working, bro.
It's
Like,
such a
I don't
nightmare.
know if it's like not being in daycare where they're constantly being reminded.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, we need to like review this.
Yeah.
we need to go to summer
That's what I
school
need.
here.
That's why I need them to be back in these situations where I'm not around to do these things for them because it was amazing before. And it's now they're like, yeah, whatever. Dad will do it. Mom will do it. Now, does Gibson know how to tie his shoes?
No.
When did your oldest learn how to tie his shoes? This is
I don't think he has yet.
my son, who's 4,
Yeah.
insists that he's going to tie his own shoes. I
Really?
spent a half hour today trying to get him out of the house where he tried to tie his shoe, and I go, listen, buddy, you don't
That's
know how.
good, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how. But he's not going to do it.
Loop,
he's like,
swoop, and pull.
he's not going to stop
Or are you
until
going bunny ears?
loop, swoop, and pull. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What?
I don't know. You ever see Big Daddy?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, man, I'm like, you don't know how to do it. He's over there trying to twist the laces together,
Dude,
and I'm
you
like,
should
buddy,
teach them.
well, I'm going to now.
Yeah.
Actually, my stepsister took her son to a class for it where they taught him how to tie his shoes in like a day.
Really?
Like it was like a couple hours.
Really?
They have people that do that, and I'm going to
That's
send
a
him.
job.
I guess. They live in Denver, man. They have like dog
Yeah.
walkers and stuff over there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They probably have dog walkers here too. But like, I let my dog out the back door, and I don't need to walk my dog.
Clearly doesn't.
Yeah, I've failed, I think, in that respect. I don't
He just
need
buys
to teach
shoes with
him. Yeah, he
straps.
just doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. Like most of his shoes are like.
How many times I've said to him too, like, look, man, this weekend you're gonna learn how to tie your shoes.
There's a lot of things I have planned for these weekends that don't happen.
Right.
You know, I have these big ideas in my head that just don't.
He's
come
old
to
enough to
fruition.
where I think I can sit him down and do it. I just don't care.
I don't.
Honestly,
That's why I'm like, I'll tie them for you,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah. We
I
can
don't
get out
even
of here
think he
real
has
quick.
laces, right? Yeah.
but the thing is, like, it was a whole thing, and I'm like, dude, this sucks. I'm like, and not to mention my 2-year-old is at the point where he has to do everything himself,
Oh yeah.
and we have to start everything over,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun too when I'm trying to go somewhere in a hurry. So, whatever. I just wanted to know about the shoe thing because my son's obsessed with it. All of a sudden,
They have this thing now called Velcro.
Oh, yeah,
I think
it's
you should look into it.
amazing.
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get some more. of
Every
those.
shoes we buy is Velcro.
Well, so
it's great.
the shoes that he has, like his Nike shoes, like they're slip on. They're great. There's no laces on them. They're just amazing.
Yeah.
But the ones that he,
They have like the elastic on the sides.
yeah, they're amazing. So are the ones that I just bought them,
Yeah.
but they have
So
laces on
perfect.
them.
Oh,
So that's where this all came from. So
that's good though.
yeah, I mean, maybe I'll have to teach him. I don't know. It's gonna be awesome.
Let us know how that goes.
Yeah, we'll
let
talk
me
about it next
keep
time.
me updated.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't cool today. That's for
My
sure.
kid probably still won't know how to tie his shoes.
Maybe he'll
probably
get bored
fine.
with it, and we'll just figure it 5
Listen,
years
it's
down
like
the road.
cursive. Like they just don't really need to know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't shoes supposed to be tying themselves by now? Like Back to the Future, like they just,
Oh yeah.
remember you put the shoes on and they
That
just.
movie was full of shit.
Oh
Listen,
yeah,
It's one of the greatest cinematic
have you ever seen?
It's a great trilogy.
experiences
It is.
ever.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
Big fan. Although I saw a meme the one time, and I just have to say this one. It says what I thought 2019 would be like. And it's like floating cars and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it says what 2019 was really like. And it was a picture of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was actually Action 19 News. And it says our peanut butter and jelly sandwich is racist. That was the headline. It was like it's the best meme I've ever seen in my life.
That's so good.
Like, okay, man. And this is the future.
Oh, that's fantastic.
All right, so
Oh man.
last thing.
All right, Tyler. Another thing we do is dad hacks. So I think that you're maybe familiar, but if not, something that the 22-year-old dude that just found out that he knocked up his girlfriend thinks his life is going to be over.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's going to be okay. What kind of hack can you give that man to say it's going to be okay? I'm going to make this portion of your life easier.
With this little hack.
I don't know if this is a hack or not.
It probably is.
I've been fortunate that I've had a couple plays produced that I've written. And I wrote a play about my experiences of being a stay-at-home dad, which I was for a number of years. Well, I guess I still am because I work from home. And in one of the drafts of this play, the character finds out that his brother's going to have a baby too. So he makes a list of like things, like a heads up. And I ended up emailing that list to friends of mine who were having babies. And I wish I knew off the top of my head what was on that list. I really think that once you get through the childbirth, like the actual activity of childbirth, everything else, you're just going to have to figure it out. That's why I say, like, watch all the YouTube videos, you know what I mean, of people giving birth. And in that process, like for my wife, she would watch animal birthing videos because she would say to herself, look, if elephants can give birth and just kind of walk around and the baby just pops out and they're not screaming, then there must be something natural about it. And I think even during my son's birth, I was like, just remember the elephants. And it worked, she said. So I think is that we also found this video of a woman who was doing an at-home birth in her tub, like in her actual bathtub, and they were waiting for their doula or the midwife, or whatever, to come to the house. And the doorbell rang, and they had all this on video. And the husband went downstairs to get the door, and she gave birth in the tub while in that like 2-minute span. It was like, hello. It's also kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have the best advice I ever had or was given was a friend of mine who now has 4 almost adult kids. And he's just said, just show up, like just be there. And when you're there, nothing else matters.
That's kind of true.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. I mean, go ahead and hit the button. Dad hack. I think showing up is so important.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that doesn't mean like just driving them to practice.
No.
Or, you know, making sure you're at the dinner table. It's being present
I think
with
what
them.
that means is like put a little effort into it, right?
For sure.
Like be involved in whatever your kids are into. Like right now, my son's into superheroes, and it's super easy to be involved, right? Like he likes Mario Brothers, and so like we're playing video games together and things like that. Super easy. My daughter, on the other hand, wants to play tea parties every day, and it's just not natural to me, but I love doing it with her.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, but be involved, put some effort into it.
No matter what their
I
hobby
love
is or
that.
whatever they're into, be there
doesn't
for them and
matter.
support them for it,
Yeah,
right? So
it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
that's the most important thing as a parent, a father, and that means everything to them.
Yeah, the kids, they don't care what your job is or what kind of car you drive or how big your house is or whether or not you're rotating the fucking lines on your yard.
No, they're gone.
Listen, they probably care.
They will
about
care
that.
later.
Later down the road, but right
care
now
about
in this
the
moment,
lines.
they do not give a shit. Hey, Dad, are you finished with that? Whatever the hell you're doing, yard work.
But yeah,
I've
I
been in
think
the
just,
street for 6
Yeah,
hours.
I'm trying to get your attention. Get it
has
together.
anybody seen the dog?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and that's not something I'm very good at. I'll fully admit. You know what I mean? I'm in my head a lot. But I think I think my kids know they know I love. I tell them I love them 100 times a day.
Yeah.
I come from a very physical family. A lot of hugging, a lot of
Same.
cuddling and wrestling with each other. But like an actual dad hack that I had when I was first starting out was I would fold the pants in a way, I think I roll them up so that you could read the size label without having to open up, like unfold them.
That's
Am I remembering that correctly? I think because you would fold up your pants in whatever long ways and put them away, then you'd have to be like, what size are these? And I think I would roll them up so that the label was out, so I could just pick up the roll and be like, no, those are not going to work.
okay. So that's actually amazing because especially with 2 boys.
Yeah.
So like I'm going through like their clothes when I'm doing laundry, and I have to always be like pull everything out and be like, this is Ben's or is this Sam's? I don't know. So that's That can make things go a lot smoother.
It could, if I'm remembering that correctly.
That
I think
sounds
I rolled
amazing.
them
It
up,
sounds
yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
like I know like my daughter, especially she wears these like they're basically like stretchy pants.
Mm-hmm.
But like so she can wear anything from like 18 months to 4Ts.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're
I don't know who's coming up with the sizes for kids'
it's a
clothes.
fucking scam. Is
Yeah.
what
It's
it is.
impossible right now, man.
But that's amazing.
I like that. I want to go back to that list thing you were talking about, though, real quick.
Yeah.
So, like, writing a list for some, like, a future father of, like,
Yeah.
so, like, just giving him ideas, kind of preparing them,
It
kind of
was.
list.
I found an email that I sent. Is this okay?
This is
bad?
absolutely
Yeah,
fine.
this
Is this bad
super
pod?
okay. No, it's good pod.
Because this could be a third. I mean, I feel like that right there is a phenomenal dad hack. If
So yeah, so I don't know. Let me see. So I haven't read this yet. I just found it on my way here. There were 21 things I wrote.
I like that.
The first one was all about watching the birthing videos. If any if any of your friends give you baby shirts with the buttons on the back, you should defriend them. They're assholes.
That's 100% true.
Number 3 was same for overalls.
Yeah.
Number 4 was keep coconut oil at the changing table because any rash that popped up,
Yep.
coconut oil was
Coconut oil's
like
great.
I didn't even know that.
I was not aware of that. Use
no?
pink salve. Well, that's because
Pink salve's great too.
this stuff's phenomenal. It's a mess, but it's phenomenal.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I didn't know about it until the hospital.
It's from like the 50s.
Yeah,
right?
it's old, man.
Oh, the old
this
school.
Pink, like it's you
It's
can only
thick,
buy
man.
it at Drug Mart, I think.
It's very thick,
yeah,
but
it does work.
it's phenomenal.
Have all your okay, this is my wife's favorite story. So my son came. We brought my son home. He was, I don't know, 3 days old, and he pooped his diaper, of course, obviously, right? So I was like, no, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Honey, you've done enough.
Babe,
You
I
sit
got
down.
this.
I got it. Time for me to clock in.
Yep, here we
I
go.
will change the diaper, the poopy, oily diaper, and I had him on the table, and I took off his. I mean, it was a thing, and I wiped him, and I had everything, and I put the diaper in the pail that was right next to the changing table. And I had his legs up like this, and I realized I didn't have any of his clothes ready, which was like a total fucking rookie mistake.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. And I was holding on to him still, and I reached to get the clothes, and I had his legs up, and he shat like a stream of poop that shot across. I think it hit the wall. It definitely landed on where the pail was. I had just had my hand there. I was like, it looked like somebody had stepped on a mustard packet. And God! I was like, holy fucking shit! This is terrible. I started freaking out. And when my wife tells it, she tells it like I was just alone in the room, and he was changing it, and all of a sudden I hear Tyler going, "Holy shit! My hand was just there. Oh my god! I don't want to do this anymore. I barely know this person."
We just met you.
Have all your clothes ready before you take off the diaper,
That's fantastic.
and keep a small washcloth because they'll pee. So
yeah.
you just cover them. Just
cover it, yeah.
Which was a great piece of advice I was given. People are stupid about baby names. Tell them to shut the fuck up.
Such good advice.
Oh yeah, this is true. You'll begin to hate people more now. So this is part of what my play was based on this idea of like I was always with my son, and I would take him around, I would take him on walks, I would take him to the Athens Mall or whatever, and I would get weird looks. And this is right at the time when more stay-at-home dads were becoming a thing. It was like just the beginning of that era. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it was still kind of a lot of adjustment for people. So I would get women just coming up to us at the grocery store and be like, "Is he
Babysitting
cold?"
today?
Yeah. No, they would just look at him and be
That's
like,
my
"Oh, is he
favorite.
cold? He looks cold. Does he need a jacket?" It's like, look, fucking lady, this is not my first day, okay? It was a year and a half
my fourth
ago.
day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you just shat on me yesterday.
So it's shit like that. Keep books. Yeah, I haven't read this in a while. These are good advice. Keep books in the crib because when they get to a certain age,
Yeah.
they'll entertain themselves with them. I sing to them all the time. I sing to my kids constantly, even if I'm just making stuff up, which I usually do. Usually about changing their shitty pants.
Same. Yeah.
Talk to them nonstop. Get out of the if you're the dad, which you probably are, at some point,
Not always.
yeah, hopefully,
Yeah.
at some point when she's ready, get the mom out of the house and just tell her to go do something.
Yep.
100%.
Go see a movie. Go do whatever.
Go to the girls' night.
Get
whatever.
a mani
Listen,
pedi.
it's
Yeah,
super easy. Go to Target.
yeah, yeah. Spend an hour.
Super
Spend 2
easy.
hours.
Yeah.
Do whatever you. However long you
Take
can
your
get
time.
away.
Yeah.
Without the baby needing to breastfeed or
Right,
needing
right.
supplies.
Super good advice.
There's no such thing as the right way to be a parent. But there is such. Where did I get this from? But there is such a thing as being the right parent to your baby, and you'll get that. I think.
It's deep.
Yeah, it's a learn on the fly process. Just do it.
Yeah.
Keep a box of tissues on the table. He's going to sleep for the first 6 weeks, except for the time you're feeding them. Get Netflix. I think we went through all of Sons of Anarchy, my son's first.
Nice.
There you go.
That was Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
which is great
crushed
because
Game of Thrones.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
watch them and you don't have to worry about the kids.
They're not
knowing
retaining
what the fuck's
anything,
going
so
on.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my son's pretty violent now, but you know.
Yeah, they all are.
He's always looking for dragons. Oh, so this is something that happened to me when my son was 9 months old and started crawling. He was a late crawler. I was doing laundry. Like I put all the laundry on the bed and, turn around and put it in the drawer.
Sure.
And he was just on the bed and I turned around and he had crawled off the bed and it was a pretty high bed and I just caught him.
Dad reflex.
He hit his head on the floor for sure, but he bounced and he had an egg on his forehead for a while. So it was just be careful. Don't leave your kids on the bed when.
Yeah. Keep an eye out.
Yeah. The other thing that I always like is I shower with my kids a lot. Not anymore because they're pretty big. But it's kind of weird. When my son was born, we had like one of those fishnet things that you lay in, like a canopy bed type thing you put in the bathtub.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lay him in there.
Yeah.
And he hated it because it was cold. So I started, he was probably a week or two old. And I just started showering with him, like holding him. And even when he got, pretty old, it was just one of my favorite things, just to like have that moment with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And when they're babies, it's important to have that skin to skin.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And the addition to that is when they're old enough, if you shower with your kids and they're old enough to sit up on their own and you put them down on the floor, you might be tempted to put your feet on either side of them to keep them from falling over. Don't do that because the water runs off your balls and directly onto their head. And I didn't know at first until I looked down and my son was like, no, would you stop that?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, God. That's true. Good call on that one. That's awesome. Hey, man. And then you know what? They're used to the water then,
They
right?
don't care where it's coming from at that age.
That's true.
They don't know what they're doing.
But they're also used to the water then. And it's not
Yeah.
like they're freaked out by
Yeah.
No.
being soaked or, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that's good too. That's awesome.
So that's it. The pants thing
It's good.
That's
The
all good
YouTube
stuff, man.
thing.
So that in itself is a dad hack right there.
and the ball water.
The ball water.
Ball water is the
Baptizing your
ultimate
kids in-
dad hack. Yeah.
Ball water.
Just refrain from ball water.
Keep the
at
ball
all
water.
costs. Ah, that's so good. Well, good, man. So you had like 4 dad hacks there.
Yeah, at
Well, I mean,
least.
then plus the list. So I mean,
Yeah.
shit. Good
was
work
really
on that.
good.
I don't know if I have any dad hacks. That's
What
a,
was what were some of the best dad hacks you guys have come across?
Oh,
I can tell you my favorite dad hack.
Yeah.
okay. Let's hear it.
My favorite dad hack was from a dude. His name's James. He came on the show and he was a fantastic guest. And he said something that I think about all the time. Your family does not miss you when they're sleeping. So I think in this world where we try and get so much done and we try and do so many things, if you want to go to the gym or you want to do whatever, like sure you can plan it out with your family, but if you can figure out a way to spend time with your kids and then maybe wake up an hour earlier,
Yeah.
or go to bed an hour later, or whichever works for you. If you can do something when your kids are already sleeping, I mean, so that's a really good example of why we do this show late.
Yeah, sure.
Like we want to make sure that we do as much as we can to get our kids in bed before we go do our thing, you know? But I think that's such good advice because, you know, as men, I think that we always try and cram so many things, whether it's getting the lines in the lawn perfect or making sure that my ball water's not, you know, spraying too far down the stream, you know, whatever it is. If your family's sleeping, they don't miss you. And that's kind of deep to think about.
Sure.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's why I love my routine was before this whole quarantine thing was always I would go to the gym before everybody woke up.
Yeah.
And then what I used to do is I'd go to the gym and I would shower and go to work. What I started doing was get there even earlier and then go home. And then when they woke up, I would help them get ready for everything. Yeah. So that's, that was definitely one of the best ones.
That was a good one. Yeah.
We've had a ton of great dad hacks that I use too. Yeah. And it's, which is the most amazing thing about the whole thing. So, I mean, it helps whoever's listening and then it helps us out too, which this whole thing helps us out.
Right.
I mean, I take a lot from what we talk about with guests and I take it home with me.
Yeah.
And I think about it all the time too. It helps me to think of things that I would never think of, like just the simple things, like the small things. And I get to, even listening to one of our podcasts, sometimes I'm like, holy shit, yeah, I forgot about that. And that's amazing advice. I'm going to do that. I'm going to remember to do this. I'm going to forget all the petty shit that's going on right now and just think of my kids and think about being a dad. So, and that's our main goal here. So I don't know, but your dad hacks, I take those in too, man, especially the ball water.
It's brilliant.
It is so bad.
It's 100% true.
You wouldn't think it. Right.
Like
the kids on the bed, the stuff, that's another thing too, is when they're on the bed like that too.
Yeah.
Like, or if you take your eye off them for a second when they're that little.
I've had
It's the things that you're like, that's not what won't happen. I can just turn for a second.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's,
you asked earlier, like, what are the things that I'm proud of? And I don't have an answer, but I definitely know the things that I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like
for
those
sure.
moments when you're like, what?
but you'll never forget them, right?
No.
yeah.
There's so many things that you could be proud of that you do every single day of your life as a dad. And
Yeah,
it's that you're not proud of, like you don't realize it, but
Right.
there's things that you do every day just being a dad that's amazing.
I think being a dad it's easily the best thing that's happened to me.
100%.
And I credit my wife for that because any other, who knows what it would have been like, but she's such a wonderful mother and her life has always been geared towards being a parent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my life has not necessarily been that at all.
I don't think we've ever really thought about it. Like I always thought,
Right.
like my future, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have kids, but
Sure.
I didn't really think of like what goes into it,
Right.
and what I'm actually gonna be like in that situation. But it's
I'd agree.
I definitely love it more than I've said this to a lot of people that, especially new dads, that like people I work with, I know they're gonna have kids. I'm like, listen, man, I had a ton of fun. I did a lot of awesome shit, in my earlier years. But the best thing I ever did was have kids.
Yeah.
Honestly. I
100%.
love every minute of it, man.
And it's not bullshit either.
No, it's not. I'm very proud of like everything that we do. My kids make me so happy. Like I could have the worst day ever, and like you could come home and when your kids are waiting for you at the door.
Oh my god.
And how excited they are to see you. I know that'll change one day, but right now at this age, they're so happy to see me, and like that's the best thing ever. So
100%.
I don't know.
Oh,
Good things. Good things.
Yeah, they're. I think kids are a reflection of the parents in a lot of ways, and I think
Absolutely.
as long as you're a good person and you give a shit, I think that'll rub off. That's the thing that'll rub off the most,
For sure.
yeah, and that's being present. Like
That goes back to being present.
That
Yes,
goes
absolutely.
back to just like showing up. Like just don't be a dick and just be gone all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Because it can be easy to do that.
Right, especially now with everyone working from home.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Just be
there.
present. Put
And then
your fucking phone away.
And show them like how you treat your
Go
wife.
wrestle with your
Like
kids.
be good to your wife, right? And then
That's a big
that's going to
one.
make them a better person. Or
Yeah.
the way your
Girl or
wife is.
boy, doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter. Either way, they see the way that you respect each other and the way
Yeah.
that you work together, and like
100%.
that's important shit right there.
Right. Be kind to strangers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
My kids wave to
Yes.
everybody, which sometimes I'm like they're really friendly with everybody. I'm like, but
Well, we've
it's a good
talked
thing
about how my son's going to be the one that
for sure.
goes in a van with a stranger. He just loves.
He loves
everyone.
people, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, and I don't know what age they get to when you're like. I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like when do they understand? My son's 8, and he knows don't go running in the street. But I don't know if he quite, we buried in his head. Like, if somebody says to you, hey, help me find my dog, what do you say? You know what I mean? You say no.
And the scary thing is a lot of people are just going to go, and a lot of kids are just going to be like, okay. You know what I mean? That's the scary thing. And I don't know
Right, because you want to preach kindness. You want to preach, like, hey, you help each other out. You be a good person.
But you still got to make
But
them
like,
aware
there's
of
situations where people will take advantage of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, how do you rectify that?
Yeah.
You know, that's a tough one.
It's like you have to. I don't know, man. I don't even know when I start having that talk with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do remember being really little. I'm gonna say probably 5 years old because I think my mom started talking about, like, and probably at school too. They started talking about don't talk to strangers. They start putting that fear into your mind. But I'll never forget, like, when I realized it, like how scary like a stranger could be.
Sure.
And I started realizing there's actually really bad people. Like, I still remember that as a little kid.
Well, yeah, your innocence starts to go away.
Exactly, and that was a bad feeling as a little kid, man. Like, just realizing that, like, hey, the world's it could be a really scary place, man. So I don't know, but I don't know when that talk starts. I don't know. They have stuff like that. They're like Safety Town and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure at school they teach kids that, but I don't know, man.
I can't tell you how many times a day I think about. Did you guys ever watch Arrested Development?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how the patriarch Bluth would have his friend like get his hand chopped off or like get hit by a car and be like, that's why you don't play in the streets. How many times a day I think to myself, that is the most brilliant parenting technique there's ever been. And I just want to pay somebody to get hit by a car on my street so I can look at my daughter and be like, that's why you don't go on the fucking street.
There you go.
I mean, that's a lesson right there. Like, you can, at somebody else's expense, or your financial expense,
It'd be worth every penny.
I just need to find someone that's willing to get hit by a car.
It doesn't even have to be fast.
No.
I keep thinking
we
maybe
probably know a few people that would do it.
Maybe if I get
I'll
like
try.
a watermelon and just see it get run over and be like, see, that could be your head.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So my son, he was getting ready this summer. He was supposed to go into acting class.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
He loves performing.
Sure.
Like, it's hilarious to me. Like, he wants to have his own YouTube channel. And remember, he's almost 5.
Right.
But he loves doing these things. He does.
I mean, you want him to have a YouTube channel too. Those kids
You
make.
really do.
Well, if he was going
Welcome
to
to
be
Ryan's Toy Review.
if he was going to be
Fucking
that
billionaire.
and make $22 million a
Yeah.
year, whatever the fuck that kid makes, then sure, I'd be all in. But then you also think about, like, all right, what am I setting my kid up for in the long run? But no, like, he will walk by a mirror and he'll look at himself and be like, hey kids, today I'm going to show you how to style your hair.
Yeah.
And he'll
he's got it,
do
man.
all this thing. And like, I really think it would be good for him to get into something like that.
Sure.
So with a theater background, you're still in the space. Anything you recommend or don't recommend?
I don't know if I have anything I don't recommend, but certainly there are theaters that cater to children, like youth theater, especially here on the East Side. And just find a summer theater camp.
Yeah,
and
we're just
it'll
going to
do-
go to the fine arts and do like
even if it's not specifically acting, or even if he just decides acting's whatever, at least he'll meet people. He'll come out of a shell a little bit. I don't know what his shell is or doesn't have one. Yeah, but it'll also be able to direct some of that energy towards something productive and creative.
That's, I think, what we're
Yeah.
looking
which
for.
can translate into other things more than likely. But I think you'll be able to find a lot of great places. I live in Lakewood, so the Beck Center is really well known for that.
Okay.
And here on the East Side, I work with Ensemble Theater in Cleveland Heights, and we do a lot of youth camps with the Cleveland Heights school system. There are Cleveland Public Theater does a lot of work, and they're right on, like, near West Side.
Yeah.
I think you'll find a lot of avenues for that here.
Yeah.
In that respect, Cleveland's a great town for.
But you would
theater
recommend,
audience.
like,
theater? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think he would be perfect for it. Like, he just loves doing stuff, and he loves learning lines.
Oh, good.
Like, we did this whole segment for the daycares one time for like a couple of years. It was Gibbs Got Jokes. And like, he would rehearse these jokes and he would do it and he would like get his laugh down to where he liked his laugh. And it was so funny to me. It was just like so ridiculous. But I was like, all right, dude, we've done like 13 takes. Like, I think it's good. He's like, no, Dad, we got to get this right. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fun project too, right? To
Yeah.
make your own dad
Yeah.
and son videos. I think that's
and,
great.
and it was super fun. With
Yeah.
him. Yeah. So we had a good time doing it.
Yeah, I'd say, run with it. See where it goes.
For sure. Cool. All right. We have done dad hacks and proud dad moments and ball water and
Not gonna. Yeah, I think we covered it all. Steak, lawn,
steak, lawns,
shoes,
and, yeah.
The COVID.
the COVID.
Oh, yeah,
Shit,
we did
toilet
talk
paper, man. Everything.
Fucking toilet paper.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, it's really good stuff.
So, yeah.
Tyler, thank you so much for coming on.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Hanging
Yeah,
out.
we
for having
appreciate it,
me.
man.
It's
You're
been-
awesome.
It's been a lot of fun.
has
Anything
been.
you want to plug real quick before we do our little spiel and sign off?
I do have a collection of plays available on Amazon called Fuck It, a collection of short plays by Tyler Whidden.
I love that.
You can, it just sort of embodies my philosophy on theater, which is just fucking do it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be pretentious or anything. I think that's probably it.
Okay.
All right.
Pretty sure. Maybe there's something else. I don't know.
Are we going to see you at an open mic or something like
Yeah.
that?
I'll let you know
We
when
would-
it happens.
Perfect.
We would attend for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what you guys are doing here is great. It's a nice avenue for a, I don't think you get the dad's perspective very much, or at least not traditionally. So I think what you guys are doing is great. So I'm proud to have been a part of it, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
that.
Thank you so much for coming
And
on.
thanks for the bourbon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
good
always
stuff,
good
man.
this is really good.
This
by
is
the
really
way.
good.
Yeah,
Like-
what is it?
Like we kind of skipped over this.
We did, man. I mean,
It's not like we were doing a review or anything like that, but
Yeah.
this Blender Select is really freaking good.
we didn't talk
Which
about this at all
Makes me more mad
because we were supposed to have it before it hit the
everybody
shelves,
else.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's okay because it's good.
but it's really good.
It is good.
This is not a rye.
No, this is not a rye. This
The
is
regular
a-
bourbon is a rye, though, right?
No.
Or do they have a rye?
They do have a
there's-
rye.
There's
Okay.
bourbon and then there's rye whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get into a whole nother topic.
Doesn't
of that,
matter.
but
Yeah.
you don't
It's
really.
the green label, right?
My parents,
Yeah, it is.
being Canadian, drink rye whiskey. It's a Canadian
Is
thing.
that a Canadian thing?
I mean,
There's a Canadian whiskey
yeah.
that's I don't know the mash bill of Canadian whiskey.
I think it's either
typically.
7 or
Which is 7.
their sister is. It's just 7. I think
my
one
favorite
of
number,
those
so.
is a rye.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Crown Royal might be a rye. Is that possible?
I don't believe it is.
I don't know.
Well, not by American standards though.
Okay.
But what the fuck do we know? So
Obviously nothing because we don't
right.
know if it is or not.
Yeah.
So
I will have to look that up. So I know that there is a bourbon whiskey, there is a rye whiskey, there is a Canadian whiskey. Now, how the mash bills match up, I have
Right.
no idea what the difference really is.
Yeah.
I know bourbon has to be 51% corn,
Oh.
to whereas rye whiskeys have to be. There's a number.
Yeah.
I don't know what that number is,
but there is a number. It might be 7.
but it's all different and it's all good. It could be 7.
Which I'm
Well, I
fine
think we
with.
nailed it. Yeah. Thanks,
Well,
guys.
thanks, Tyler, man. It was a lot of fun,
Thank
buddy.
you so much. If you haven't already, please make sure you check us out on www.thetalkingdads.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and then, of course, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And then, of course, as always, raise
Good humans.
Thanks.
Thank you. Catch you next time. Hey guys, if you love what you just heard or watched, and we know you did, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up. Share with your friends and throw us a comment, literally about anything. Your support legit keeps us going. Oh, and don't forget to give us that 5-star rating. We really appreciate you.